Me and no dick to the room, kitty kata. Now you got the whole world in your hand. Within the past, we know day. You got the whole world in your hand. Commando, commando. I get God and I get life. Everything else you go work for me. Me and no dick to the room, kitty kata. Now you make a favor, follow me. You make a blessing, come then knock on my door. And if I want to go order. You know that the focus, so cast. Everything I want, I order. Everything nice and smooth. I know, me like it, the drop. You know that the focus, so focus. I want, I order. Everything nice and smooth. Me like it, the drop. You got the whole world in your hands. You got the whole world. Within the past, we know day. You got the whole world in your hands. Commando, Commander, oh, yeah. Follow the lamb, but they feel and the thing they totori. And you tell me, say my picking when you need me, make you they call on me. Say, it's not my confidence. Every time I call you overcompetent. I no need to come up from you, you're divine. And I go this steady the tapa. You know that you forecasting, oh no. Everything I want, I order. Everything nice and smooth. Yeah. You like it, they drop out. You know they do forecasting, oh. Everything I want, I order. Everything nice and smooth. You like it, they drop out. You got the whole world in your hands.
All right, it's 6 p.m. on the dot Mountain Time. I want to say a very big welcome to everybody. I want to say a big welcome to everybody right here. Um, Today on the Village Meeting 9.0. We are happy to have everyone on the call. If you want to please do a reminder to your friends. For some people who have said, send me this, send me a reminder, send me this. That's what I'm trying to do right now. No, sir, I deeply apologize. I'm sure you can hear me right now, but I'm just saying your message. I apologize. I'm not sure why you didn't see that sense, but it's okay. It's okay, but thank you for that. I hope my apology is accepted. I'm happy to see everybody. Marina, Nofisat, our last panelist. Yes, and I can also see Alicia. Yeah, our last panelist. Thank you, all my people. We are going to be having a great time today. Me, me, I know. Okay, just give me a minute. Someone just sent me a message. Moyo, please, if you can help me post the link. Someone's asking for the link on the group. Please, thank you. But I just want to again say a very big welcome. I will try to, how many are we now? Okay, 22. So I'll try to just quickly call names. Ududua, Nopisa, Dami, Jerry, someone is Zed, and my dear sis, Marina, Aderonke, Adebola, Toby, Nosa, Evo, Bumi, Mama, welcome. No, sir, Nofisat. Oh, I think I've called those names before. Paul, IT, Constance, that's my sister, iPhone, Adebola, Moyo, and all our beautiful, not beautiful, all our handsome and very wonderful panelists today already on the call. Mr. Moyo, and also Mr. No, sir, and my big bro, Adriel Onograpo. Who else do we have here? I think we have two of our panelists not here yet, but I'm so sure that they'll be here today. I want to say thank you so much to our panelists. These people, honestly, I've been talking about them. I've been talking about these panelists. They are the best, actually. And I'm so sure that today you will agree with me when we are done with this meeting today. So we're just going to take a few minutes. If you want to please just send a reminder to some people to come in. If you want to do a call, you want to send a text, you want to put it up on status, whatever it is. Okay, I can see some people doing that right now on the different platforms. So thank you so much. Let's just do that. I'm going to just make a call to one of our panelists. Right now, he's in Nigeria. Hopefully, he's not, he hasn't slept off. So I'll just do that quickly. So just give me about 2 minutes. Thank you.
Anoma, I think you're still muted. We can't hear you.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. Marina, thank you so much. Okay, I was saying that, thank you, Marina. I was saying that from our last meeting, we had a feedback poll, and from that feedback, and that's where the topic for today generated from. So I was just saying that in case you're having money problems, uh, I cannot remember some things I said, but it's okay. In case you're having any problems with money at all in your family, I want you to know that you are not the first. You will not be the last, and you are not alone. And I was also saying that the panelists that we have here today, for me, I think that these are they are actually the best for this topic. And why do I say so? All finance, all businessmen, all family men. Oh my God. And I can see them blushing. Yes, family men, businessmen. And listen, like I told you before, the village meeting is not for perfect people to come sit down here to talk. And I'm super, super serious about this. It's not about perfect people. So just in case you know anything about them, thank you. Don't worry. Just keep it in your pocket first. And let's just hear what they have to say. So this is not an expert-led session today. We're all talking to experiences, and I just want to please let us know that if you have anything you want to say, you can put it on the chat group. We have a link to the questions, of which I'll start reading some of them out right now. On the chat group too, we have a poll also. Someone will be posting them on the chat group. All of those things are actually there. No sound. You're muted. You're muted. Am I still muted? Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right. So our topic for today, let's dive into it. The 50-50 table. As I said before, these questions came in, or we decided to choose this part because of the feedback that we got from the last session. So let's talk about the 50-50 table. Is it unreasonable? Navigating money arguments. We have people saying, please, can you tell me how to talk to my husband about this? The communication never goes well. The communication is always bad. We can never agree concerning money. Money is always an issue. And then we also have working with an unreasonable partner. Yeah, questions like that coming up. How can I work with my husband? He's so unreasonable, but the husband doesn't think that he's unreasonable. And then when the woman ends better. And when I say overseas support, I decided to tweak that a little bit because I didn't want to just put it out there. Now, overseas support actually means when you have to keep sending money to your parents back at home, or also to your siblings back at home, and to your friends or whoever. So all of these things are things we're going to be talking about because these are the things that came up as issues amongst couples here in Canada. So again, welcome everybody. Can you please let me know if all our panelists are here? They also need to be on video. Nope. So we have just no sound. Okay. Black tax. Okay. Paul, are you here? Please, if you're here, please, can you please signify? Olushe, you definitely say some things today. Paul, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. All right, if you want to please just post the link on the chat group so people can start putting the links there. But I'm going to start with the first question, the 50-50 table. Let's talk about the 50-50 table. Moyo, Mr. Moyo, I'll start with you. The question says, it is you now, you guys asking the question. Is the 50-50 table unreasonable? Now, a lot of people want to know that. How can a man and a woman share, and everything the guy has to bring is 50 and everything the woman has to bring is 50? Some wives don't understand that. We don't understand. So, Mr. Moyo, let's go. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me here. So, is 50-50 unreasonable? For me, it's not a yes or no response, and I'll tell you why. Before we start looking at what is reasonable and what is not unreasonable, we need to consider some things, right? First is it has to be fair, right? Right? It has to be fair. If I'm earning 200,000 and my wife is earning 60,000 and I expect us to share something 50-50, it's not reasonable because it's not fair on our part, right? And I'm saying it's not just for her, it's also for, it could also, the table could also flip as well, right? So it has to be fair, right? And whatever you're sharing, it has to be proportional to what you are earning. That's the 50-50 that I think is reasonable. Okay? That's one. Number two, you also have to be flexible, right? Having said that, you remember that there are some things that, you can't quantify, right? So it's easy to say, yeah, let's split this 50-50, okay? Can you quantify the effort that a woman would bring to the home? Can we also share that 50-50? I don't think so. can you quantify the effort that a man,
Let me just get it running to be sure I'm inside.
right? Can you quantify the effort that a man brings to the home? Can we also share that 50-50? I don't think so. So any splitting of the bills should be reasonable, should be fair, and should be proportionate to your income. Okay, that's my position. I don't believe in 50-50. It's the moment you want to put a value on it, like it has to be 50-50, right? It's not going to be fair. For me personally, the way we operate in my home, we don't do a 50-50, right? So what we do is, this is the bill. You know what your income is. You know what my income is. What do you want to take from this? Now, when you take that and I look at what is left, I can also take the remaining. Now, this is where I say it has to be reasonable. And you also have to be flexible. The fact that we splitted these bills doesn't mean that sometimes I'm not going to come in to help, right? The fact that we've splitted it doesn't mean that sometimes you're not going to help me when you have more, right? In my home, for example, I don't do, well, so technically I don't do shopping, but I still do them, right? Some people still see me in Superstore, see me in Costco. I still do them. But that is not technically what I should be doing in the house based on our own agreement, right? So that's that. Then communication is very also important, because you need to understand yourself, right? So if you don't have that open conversation, it's going to be a problem in the home. So for me, 50-50 have to be reasonable, it has to be fair. And you, when I say you, whether the husband or the wife, you need to be flexible.
I'm not sure if we, I don't see anybody saying anything on the chat, so I'm sure they all agree with Moyo. Where are people who have been threatening Moyo for some time now?
There's only one person that we should not see here. Yeah, I will run away.
Okay, thank you so much, Moyo. I was listening to much of cause trouble. Okay, all right. I hear you, Moyo. But most women do not think so. Most women think that it's the job of a man. Let me not say most, let me say some. Some women think that it's the job of a man to take care of the home. So look at your, when you say look at your expense, sorry, look at your salary or look at what you earn, and then let's share the bills like that, look at what you can take. Some people don't think like that. I just need you to know. I'm gonna read something later, but I just want every other person to talk. Rhoda says, I think everyone puts so much into 50-50. Very good. Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Nota, you're next on my screen. I'm just gonna ask you next. I met Nosa 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said, Nosa, is 50-50 reasonable? And he said, well, it's supposed to be like that, but since we're not green now, there's no problem at all. So, Mr. Nosa, you are next. Let us go. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for inviting me. This is my first time on this Zoom call. So I was like, can you guys hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Perfect. So when I first saw the topic, immigrant wives, fear catch me. I'm not gonna lie, because man, I'm like, are we calling out our wives? Because that means we're not going to eat for this week. So thank God my wife is not is not on the call, so she won't hear what I have to say. Okay, this is my perspective. 50-50 is reasonable. I think it goes beyond 50-50. It goes beyond, and this is one of the things that we don't do well before we get married. We're all flustered with love, flowers, and emotions, that we don't talk about money. And I swear to God, man, it's always putting us in a position whereby there's a lack of understanding, there's fight, and there's disagreements, right? So for me, I want to go back to that a little bit and say, okay, you know what? The numerals don't matter to me. It is, first, is your partner even in agreement that money is an issue in marriage, right? Is your partner even ready? This is my formula. If I had a formula, if I could put a formula out there, I would say, listen, everybody's money enter one account. Give me my fuel money. Give me my beer money. Give me my tie money. And madam, just run the home. And then put money out for savings. I might be able to run people's money where I work, one of the banks, right? But when it comes to these things, I think, if you want to, it doesn't have to be a man, doesn't have to be a woman. Just know your strength and your weakness and say, hey, and out of trust. Now, I know that has led some people to some serious bankruptcy issues where you trusted somebody with money and they broke your heart. But I guess that's another perspective, because when you start to do 50-50 and that becomes a foundation for you to lay off. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What happens if somebody loses their job? That's where Moyo's flexibility issue comes in, right? So I believe this, right? And most of us have come here at a very late age, except Samson, who came here when he was 5 years old, right? The rest of us have come here at a very, very late age. And I want this to please put this in perspective. Most of us are going to be in financial problems by the time we're 70. And I'll tell you why. Except to take some drastic issues right now. And that's my greatest fear. You know, looking back I look forward to when I'm 70, I'm like, man, do I have enough? Now, some of us did our working life and we worked till we're 35. And when we worked till we're 35, the pensions that we gathered in Nigeria, some of us cleared it and used it to come here. And even if it was still there, it's worth nothing. So from 35, Samson is an insurance professional. From 35 till date, maybe you're 45 now, you're 40. You haven't even saved up enough. So the only way you can quickly get onto that, catch up with your counterparts who started working here, who win the lottery, exactly, Samson. Your counterparts who started working here when they were 16, is for you to have a joint agreement with the man or the woman you are living with, so that both of you can A, manage the home with a budget, B, be able to save, and C, be able to invest. So the issue of 50-50 is a great question, but my opinion, and I don't think my wife agrees with me 100%, why? Yeah, that's the point. What if she's not as money savvy? Two of us will go to the school and go and learn it. Their budget costs, right? That's the point, right? So it's learning. Nobody likes to talk about money. Most of us don't like to look at our accounts. It's true. We are just afraid of looking at our bank accounts. It's just natural, right? 90% of people here may not even want to like to talk about finances. So my point is, I don't want to stretch out so that other people can speak, is 50-50 may be great for you, but I feel that the best way is to have a structure where both of us earn 300,000. That's me. Money means nothing to me. It may mean a lot to you. You just give me what I need. Give what it needs to run the home at one point. Then another account goes for savings, right? If at the end of the day, you carry my money and run, it's all good, right? we'll make it happen in heaven, right? But our point is just manage it that way is what I see. And for me, that 50-50 formula, I don't like it. I might be wrong. So I'll yield the floor to somebody else.
Lots of wisdom there. Thank you so much. I won't be talking too much. I'll just let you go, because there are a lot of things on the chat group already that I think we have to start talking about immediately. We'll give everyone opportunity to please say what you have to say from Marina. Rhoda, I can see your hand. Just give me a minute. Let me call Adriel to say some things first. Let Adriel and Samson talk, and then I can start giving every other person the mic to say something. Big Bro, please go ahead. It's a 50-50 seat on this.
Hi, everyone. Onome, thank you so much for inviting me here. I love your introduction about this is people talking about their life experiences, that none of us are experts here. So from my point of view, I believe that the concept of 50-50 is wrong. My point of view, I don't think 50-50 should be a thing when it comes to marriage, right? In my household, what we do is 100%. Each person, 100%. That's what we do. If you ask me, opinion 50-50. And because of that, because we do 100% each, what happens is whatever her burden is, it's my burden. Whatever her burden is my burden. When it comes to black tax as well, someone asked a question about that in the chat. I take care of my in-laws. She takes care of my parents. We both agree on everything. As in, I don't spend a dime without her knowing, and she doesn't do the same without letting me know, because that's what both of us came into agreement on, to say, hey, we're coming together. And if we are not coming together when it has to do with finance, I think we've missed the big picture. So that's my opinion.
Wow. That one is so big, big. But thank you for sharing. Sam, talk. Let's go. I'm not sure why Nosa and Mo you are smiling. Both of you, after some talk, both of you tell me the reason you are smiling. Nosa,
No,
you.
somebody said 100% what? What if she takes the money away or something? And I laughed.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. No problem. Samson, please go ahead.
We can't hear you,
Yeah.
Samson.
I hear you, Samson. We still can't hear you.
I think your headset, your headset,
You're
yeah.
double
has
mute,
to-
I think. I think you're double
It
mute.
has
Nope.
not yet.
Ogbeni, speak
Okay.
into the computer. They won't hear it say.
Okay. While we wait for Sam talk, Mr. Chidi, are you there? Do you want to?
I think there's still one more person, right? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not in yet. Hopefully, we're trying to get him. He's not in yet. Mr. Chidi, are you there? Or was it Rabo? Rabo? Was that Rabo? Your hand was up.
Yeah, brother.
Some we can't hear you. You can keep trying. Maybe sign out, sign in again, something like that. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, hi everyone. Sorry I can't be on video right now. I just got off work. So I just feel like for me personally, I think that a lot of people that go for 50-50 is because they lack security in their marriage. So if you feel like you're not secured in your marriage, that's the reason why you have to think that, oh, he has to bring 50 and I have to bring 50. Because at the end of the day, if you didn't trust this person so much, like why are you even married to them? You know, so it's like it should be like what Adriel said, it should be 100 from both sides. Like if he's falling short, be ready to help. If she's falling short, be ready to help, because we have kids here on like back in Nigeria where you have your mom come stay, you have family come stay. Here, sometimes you have to work and the father has to take care of the babies. Well, I don't know for other people's home, but my house, that's how it is. Like he has to take care of the baby, he has to do everything. He has to clean the house before I come, he has to cook. And if he's gonna work too, I have to do the same thing too. So I feel like when there's no security, then that's when you're worried, like, oh, someone's gonna steal my money, or I can't give all my money to this person. But that's your partner, that's the person. It should be you guys against the world. So everybody has to stop thinking like 50-50 has to be like, oh, you have to bring half of the rent, why I bring half of the rent. No, 50-50, I think it's just everybody focuses on that number, like 50-50 has to be half and half. It's just like meet me where I'm at. Like, okay, if I'm falling short, meet me there. Like if she's falling short, meet her there. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be like, oh, you have to bring certain amount, or if I clean this morning, you have to clean in the afternoon, or if the man is bringing the money, the woman has to do the chores. No, I feel like love is even sweeter when everybody's doing everything. Like there's no role, like there's no this, everybody's just doing it, and then the money just keeps going. And so that way, like you're able to build more because there's trust, there's security. But with the social media and everybody just being like, oh, this lady brought this man abroad and then this woman left the man, or this is that, a lot of people channel their energy into that negativity. And that's why most people focus on like, no, I got to save my money, I got to keep my money. Yes, I do have, like, personally, I do have, like, sometimes I keep my money and be like, I don't have, not because I don't want to give it to my husband, but because I know he has to, but he wants to be like, you know, I know you're keeping your own for something. Don't worry. Let's spend your own first. And we joke about it. I'll be like, oh, so you had it before. I'll be like, oh, Shebi, you said you know get them before. So we'll just joke about it. And it makes it fun. So, but like when you're so scared, like, oh, this person is gonna cheat me, then that's when you start like brooding, you start keeping things you can't even help. And then that's when you start creating lapses in your marriage, and then the other person starts feeling like, oh, you're not taking care of me how you should. But if you guys are open to each other, like Mr. Ejiro said, like you guys are open to each other, you guys are doing things for each other, there shouldn't be any reason why you can't, like, if you want to be 70 today and he's 30 today, that's fine. Tomorrow you could be 30 and be 70, but it has to be, you have to know your partner, you have to know who you're with. And if that person is not good for you, I don't see any reason why you should be there, because that's what partnership is. It's like two of you coming together to build something. I think that's just like my own opinion on all of this.
Thank you, Rabo. Thank you. Olola, let's go, please.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was going to be next.
Very good, very good.
Thank you so much, everyone. Good evening. So while I understand everybody's points of views, and I know, like I said in the group chat, like myself and my husband fall towards what Ejiro does. I wanted us to point out something here because I've been a marriage counselor in the past, right? When we're talking about marriages doing 100%, I also want people to understand like it's what we call healthy marriages, right? People who have built the foundation properly. I keep saying there are a lot of things we need to all learn, especially people like us who came from Nigeria, right? And even if we're not going to learn it, if you have kids, make sure you're not teaching them what you did in Nigeria. You're just laying them up for failure. Whether you like it or not, you need to just take it. If you are doing 50-50, it's okay. If you're doing 70-30, but please, the children you're raising up here, make sure you're not raising them to be thinking they will do 50-50 or 70-30, hoping they're going to be in healthy marriages, right? Hoping they're not going to be in abusive marriages, okay? It won't work here. So again, people do things for different reasons. I am of the view that if I'm sleeping with a man who is my husband, if he can see my bum bum, what else is remaining? That's my own point of view. So what is money? What is every other thing, right? And this thing falls both ways. There are also women who earn more than their husbands, right? I believe if you're all in one pot, again, this is my point of view, not discrediting anybody else, okay? It makes life easier. You find out that you're achieving more things than people who are doing separate finances and all that. It has its lack of, it has its own bad sides. I think I said that the last meeting, where it's hard to surprise and all of that, right? Because everybody knows everything happening in the household, right? So sometimes it's like, oh, the husband can't surprise the wife, or the wife is doing finicky things. I know, like, the times I had to surprise Sola, it was like CIA work, right? But anyways, everybody do what you want to do. Let's also know that we're learning. So that you've been doing something for 20 years does not make it the best. We want to do things that will help us going forward. And even if not for you, again, I'm not going to argue with anybody. If you want to do it the way you're doing it, you're the one that knows your spouse. If you're in a financial, like somebody who doesn't know how to manage finances and all of that. But please, whatever you take from here, let's learn that we're going to be helping the next generation of people. And you want to set up your children not to fail. Okay? You see all this one in Nigeria where you say man will provide everything. If you have children, female children in this country, and you're doing that, recipe for disaster. Okay? If you have male children where you're saying all you need to do is provide money and you don't do anything in the house, recipe for disaster. Not to do in this abroad where you know how the things are going, right? So just wanted to chip that in. But thank you everybody for your point of view.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, so you are
Hallelujah.
back. Thank you. Yes, we can hear.
Now you're allowed to speak
We can hear
before
you.
me. Now she has spoken all the points I have. Okay. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Onome, for inviting me to the village meeting. And thanks to all the previous speakers. Honestly, you guys have said it all. Like Moyo, I learned a few things from you. Communication is very important. Nosa, it all depends. For you, this is how you think. You would even have a family like accounts where all the money goes, and it's used. And 80, I like the word "your body is my body." Actually, that's awesome. Now, two things are not two things. It might be three things. First thing I want to say is that the concept of 50-50, this is Western concept. Now, the problem with Africans, and most likely and mainly Nigerians, is that when we copy things, we copy it wrongly, in a wrong way. Because the way the white folks apply their 50-50 is not the way we are thinking about it. I have friends who are dating white folks or who are married to white people, and they share stuff, they pay bills together. But it's not like the 50-50 that we are thinking of. They come up like with a structure. Okay, you handle this, I handle this. But what is most important to them is that both of them contribute. Both of them support the family. Now, we have a situation where some people think, oh, it's a man's job to do everything. Man, come on. You are living in Canada. You are not living in Nigeria. It could be in Nigeria. It's possible. Some people marry because of financial security, right? What's this girl's name that married that rich guy in Nigeria? Regina Daniel, whatever. Probably she married because of financial responsibility. And nothing is wrong. I'm not judging anybody. You can marry for any reasons. can marry because this guy is rich, he will take care of you. If that's what he wants, right? And that's why it's important to look at why are you doing this? Why are you guys coming together? Many people don't talk about finance, but finance is very, very important. It can break a family. It can make or break a family, right? So for me, 50-50 or not, it's all whatever works for your family. What works for my family depends on what works for your family. Some family 100% works. I know family where they just say, you know what, from your salary, just take 20% of that. The remaining 80% we put in a pot or in an account, and we do all our spending from it because all the assets are jointly owned. It's family asset. We have 2, 3, 5 hours, all the cars, everything is family owned. So it all depends on the family dynamics. It all depends on what the folks want. But most important for me is that folks need to sit down and talk about it. And sometimes some men also, I think some men don't do justice to this thing because sometimes they cannot try to let their partner feel like they make more money than they do. And then the wife is like, oh yeah, you make all the money in the world, right? But come out, speak about it. You have to pay taxes, even if you make 100K. You know how much taxes take off that money? Your eventual take home, do you know what it is? So at the end of the day, for me, what's the most important is that communication, both need to sit down and look at what works for you, and both need to contribute. Sometimes you have to be the one that will take, one person might take the whole body at some point because maybe one person is working and the other one is not working, right? But what is most important is that both contribute and contribute in a fair, reasonable, mutual way. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So much wisdom this evening. Moya, your hand was up. Do you want to say something, or you want me to read the things on the chat group before? Go ahead.
So my hand was up earlier, and I think I wanted to respond to the lady that spoke earlier. Can't remember her name now. So while we're trying to put our points forward, we should also be careful not to talk down on the others. There is no one cap fit all for this thing. There is no template for it, right? So what works in your home might not work if we apply it in my own home, right? So we are all here to learn, right, from our own experiences, and from 4 people have spoken today, myself, Samson, Sir and Ejiro, we've spoken today, and it's sort of like different kind of, right? But people can, what would work for them. So the fact that somebody is doing 100% in their home doesn't mean that I should do 100%. The fact that somebody is doing 50-50, like they split everything equal, and it's working for them. If it's working for them, it's fine. It's their home, right? So while we're trying to bring this forward, we shouldn't just talk down on what is working for us. That's why I was just raising my hand earlier. I agree with some of our comment, but it's all good. I can't even remember it now.
Okay. Now, I want us to know that I think everything we were talking about since have been so perfect. I want us to know that there are some imperfect, unhealthy marriages here. And I also want us to, when we are talking, I want us to look for a way to handle the part, of people who are not actually going through, this beautiful thing that you are talking about right now. We have a lot of people's hand up. Okay, I think I'll start with Dr. Annie. Dr. Annie, your hand was up first. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, beautiful people. Thank you for calling me, giving me the opportunity to speak. The truth is, like the last 2 speakers spoke, there is no perfect fit for everybody. I think we are forgetting the fact that people who newly, move from Nigeria or any other part of the world to another country, most times not both couples do not have jobs. Sometimes one couple is working, one partner is working, and the other is just there supporting psychologically, emotionally, physically, but there's no actual finance coming. In that condition, do we say 50-50, 100-100? We know that in those conditions, one person is bearing the burden, and both couples have to come to an understanding. When they eventually begin to work, no two couples earn the same amount of money. Most times, most women are fortunate enough to earn more than their husbands, and that's where the problem starts. Very few men can cope with the fact that, my wife earns more than me and I have to look up to her for more things. It's a huge sacrifice. And then some women who find themselves in that position find it difficult to be dishing out all the time. Whether you like it or not, there's going to be a strain in that relationship. It's all about understanding and trust. Now, if the relationship has trust issues, then we cannot talk about any percentage at all. You have to understand your partner and understand and ask yourself, do you want to continue being the sole provider? And at the end of the day, you don't get emotional support, you don't get psychological support. It's like you're being used. So what do you do in that condition? What is your advice for such couples? Or you are in a relationship where one partner has more familial responsibilities. He has 20 brothers. You have one brother. Will you still call up the percentage?
All right. Go ahead.
So please, let's consider these conditions. If you're in a relationship that you have trust issues, I think you should take one project at a time. If, for instance, my husband earns more than me, and then we have a project, say $10,000 we want to spend, and my earning ability is $3,000 per month, he's earning $20,000 a month. I think the important thing is, for every project, you should contribute something so that you know that you are being done, it's done together. If you are earning $3,000, say, oh, your money is too small, you won't contribute anything, then it is not fair on the other partner. But if you have a benevolent partner, like my sister, I'll use my relatives, for example. Benevolent, he does not believe that a woman's money should be touched. So he tells her, do whatever you want to do with your money. When you have whatever, you would bring it to the table. If I can't sort it out this month, I'll sort it out next month. Some women are happy with those kind of relationships. That's what every woman wants. No woman wants to bring out her money. If she's happy to have a partner that can spend, by God, you are lucky. But if you have a partner that is struggling, I think there should just be mutual understanding per project. If not, you're going to run into financial problems.
Hello, can I say something?
I think, Dr. Yes, please go ahead. I think Dr.
So there's something I want to, and everybody has different perspective to this, right? And I totally agree that one cap cannot fit all. But something I want to beg everybody, please, I'm begging you, because I've seen this so many times in my line of work, right? This posture, some people issues, I've seen some trust issues there as one, right? That is very important. If you don't trust your partner, that's one, because of antecedents or what he or she has done before. I totally agree with you. There are some people who are so individualistic. They don't want to add, my money is your money, your money is your money, my money. Let me tell you something that will happen to you. Again, retirement is always in my head. You get to age 70 and both of you will have nothing. Or except you have amassed some wealth somewhere. And in that point, that then means that you've actually been cheating in that marriage. I'm sorry. That's how it is. If you have amassed wealth somewhere, and I know of stories where a guy or a woman was renting our own house to a husband in Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah, I've heard stories like that. Now, what I'm saying to you is this: whatever works for everybody, I totally agree. But you have to understand that you're in a country where your children will not do the same thing you did for your father and your mother. These kids who are breeding here will not give you $500 a month. They're not obliged to, because they expect that you have a pension, but they don't understand the dynamics that you've come here with less than what they have. So you're going to get to 65 and retire, and what comes to you as pension is $400 a month. Meanwhile, you still have a mortgage you've not finished paying. So my point is this: I understand all the perspectives that were brought up, and I agree with all of them. But I think that if we have one mission to say, okay, after all of this craziness that we've done, and we get to our old age, what is left for us, for me and you, for you, me and you, sweetie, what's left? The children have left us. Because I can guarantee you what happens is we get into a circle as Black people where we tell our people, when we leave Nigeria, we are coming here for our children. So when we get here, we have all of these shenanigans going on where we're sending money back to Nigeria, which is not a bad thing. We are building it with somebody swindled us in Nigeria, somebody swindled us here. We have not enough to save. And then we now want to depend on our children again. So that cycle continues. At the end of the day, the children you said you're here for do not have a head start, right? So my point is, A, the issue of trust should be taken care of. B, some people will not even want to talk to you about money. So what spouses do is they just leave them. Some people don't want confrontation. They just, okay, you know, you don't want to talk about money, it's fine. It's okay. You do your thing, I do my thing. If the bills come, I pay, right? But when you now get to retirement, both of you have nothing, because a wife or a husband is two different things from a partner. In fact, we shouldn't marry for love alone. We shouldn't be married for love, because who love help at the end of the day. You need somebody who is true. I'm gonna tear down some walls here today. You need to marry somebody who's a partner with you, who understands that this is Nosa and Funke Ltd. Or this is, because at the end of the day, right, you don't want to be a liability to your children who you said you came here for. So I'm saying whatever works for everybody works for everybody. 50-50 is fine if you want to do that, you know. But I'm just saying that, please, yeah, I've seen a lot of financial statements. I look at it and I'm like, wow, this guy has worked so much and still doesn't have anything on the statement of net worth to be able to go ahead. And what happens in marriage is that everybody's taking their stance and everybody's Jackie Chan. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody like, we chest it. We're like, hey, you know what? Screw. Then it catches up to us in future. So that's one piece that I really want us to look at. You know, all the stance that we take sometimes, psychologically, we should sit down and come together and talk. You know, husband or wife, you know, it's not a wife thing alone. It's not only a husband thing alone. I just want us to put that in perspective, that we have come here late. The average age which we've come here is 35 to 40. You only have 25 years to build up an egg nest for retirement. And most of us may not have that. Maybe those who have businesses or win lottery like Samson. So that's another perspective I'm trying to bring into it.
No, sir. Can I please
Sorry,
jump
some
in?
of us had hands raised.
Yes, please. Adrian, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes. We will call you. That's not a problem at all. We have a panelist here. When Adrian is done, then I can see your hand. I wrote it down. So in case you put your hand down, I can call you. Please, just give us a few minutes. Thank you. Go ahead, Adrian, please.
All right, thank you, Anome. Thank you, Nasa. There were so many things you highlighted, and I would like us all to take a chill pill and just back up for a minute. What we're talking about here is marriage. We're not talking about boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about marriage. We have to go back to the original concept of marriage before we apply our opinions to it. And when we're talking about marriage, we're talking about a man and a woman coming together and becoming one. That is how the original intent was. Now, if the original intent was to make one unit, like Nosa mentioned, is to create one company that is meant to do something massive or something big or something purposeful, then why are we talking about my and yours? Do you understand? And until we come to the realization that we have to come back to the original concept of what marriage is supposed to be, that we're supposed to be one unit, right? And that's why it's very key that, you know, by the time we're going through courtship and stuff like that, we need to make sure that whoever we're going into this with is somebody that, you know, shares our value, that somebody that you're ready to be one with. Now, on Marina raised the question, so what about if the person is financially irresponsible? Now, that's a bigger issue. That's a dimensional issue that we're talking about. But if we look at marriage as marriage, we're supposed to be talking about oneness. And whenever the topic comes about who's going to take care of my parents, or who's going to take care of that parent, or who's going to take care of, you know, my siblings and stuff. Now, here's something the marriage counselor told me and my wife when we got married, Reverend Odi Okundaye, of blessed memory. He said, Jujiro, 2 things will make you and your wife fight. And the number one is money. Finance would always be the biggest issue that would bring discord in your marriage. No matter how much you want to paint it. And said, because finance is going to be a big issue, you need to sort out how finance are going to be. What do we want to do? What do we want to achieve? Do we want to buy homes? What kind of cars do we want to drive? Okay, so how do we go about getting those things? He said, if you can agree on these things, many other things will be settled. And immediately he said that, I've been married for 14 years right now. And the first fight my wife and myself ever had was because of money. And let me tell you guys the funny thing about the money. It wasn't about money for herself. She had just finished school at that point in time. We're planning how to get married. And one of her siblings came and said, hey, I want to buy a modem for internet. And the sibling asked for a 30,000 naira modem then in 2010. And I asked her, I was like, sibling is asking for a 30,000 model. I was like, what type of model are you using? She said, I'm using a 155. I said, this person is just finishing school. Why not do 55 as well? At that point in time, when we are individualistic, she was like, you don't want me to do things for my brother. That's what you're saying. I was like, no, I'm just saying that, if you're using a 55, do 55 as well. Will it help him do the things that he needs to do? Do you understand? And when we had that conversation, it made us start understanding very early that you need to have this small conversation. It's not about where the money is coming from. It's more about how the money is being spent. So I would like us to put that at the back of our mind. I don't want our conversations to derail. I know a lot of people have questions, but let's keep it with the original concept of marriage.
Yeah.
How do we achieve the oneness that we're talking about, whether we're in Nigeria or we're here? How do we get to that point? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adriel. Okay, so this is how it works. We have panelists here who are just going to speak. So Mr. or Mrs. H, I don't know who that person is, please. If you have a question, can you please just send it to me, maybe directly? Or is there something you want to say? I'll give you just 1 minute so we can go back to our panelists because they are here for that today. So you have just 1 minute. If it's not a question, then please go ahead. I'm timing 1 minute.
Okay, no worries. It's not a question, it's a contribution. And it's that of on learning fast. So we come from Nigeria and we come with a lot of beliefs,
Yeah.
Like the woman is supposed to only do chores, the man is supposed to provide 100%, and many men have died. Many women have also balked. You understand? From cleaning a 1,600 square foot home, and the man can't wash plates or do any of those things. And then something that, what's her name? Nchiewe said, hope I pronounced it right. Apologies if I did not. That people change. And people do change because we're coming from a society where we earn on average 200,000 to 1 million, and then people come here. And because you're not capped by the kind of profession you're into, people earn, way more than they ever expected that they would. And then you have instances where you now see that change. And because we don't have platforms like this, or we don't have people, see, in some homes, some men don't have people that they listen to, so their wives can never get to them. In some homes, some women don't have who they listen to, so their husbands cannot get through to them. We don't discuss those things. So it's not only about 50-50. How do we unlearn and unlearn fast those things, those very unhealthy things we bring from our home country down to this place? So no amount of talk or goodwill like we're having here can change a mindset that at some point has not been, addressed. So that's one big thing. And not to take away from all the wonderful things that have been said already, but this is such a huge issue. It's such a huge issue that has to be addressed. Chores. How do you do that? What percentage does the man do? How do you quantify it? Who takes out the trash? If the car stops on their foot or on Tony Henday, who goes and who fixes that? So these are the issues. So I love the fact that we are having all of these wonderful conversations, but at the root of it all is, the mindset. What do we believe when we come here? How do we change it? If one person gets a medical problem or a medical leave, What happens to the finances when it is hit and it suffers? Who holds the
Thank you so
house?
much. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honorable, sorry, can
Thank you
I
so
quickly jump in? Just to respond to Mr. H.
Okay.
Yeah, and I see my Oga Stefano. Don't worry, we'll
Yes,
call you
please.
boss. Don't worry. Just let me quickly make this 1 minute comment. Okay. Yeah, I think to your just to answer, how do we online? I think the most important thing is being open-minded. Right. You have to be open-minded. We all have to be open-minded. That's the truth. Because if you're not ready, if you're not open-minded, you can't learn. Right? And for you to even adapt in this country, you've got to be open-minded to a lot of things. There are a lot of things that they do here that in Nigeria is not acceptable. It contrary to our religious beliefs and everything. But if you're not open-minded, you can't survive in Canada. That's the truth. Right? So for me, with church and everything, I think it's seeing this thing as this is our home, this is our family. Your body is my body. I like that. If my wife is not my slave, right? Sometimes I might be working. She might, anytime I have free time, I have to support. And in Nigeria, some people have a housemaid. There's no housemaid. If you want to pay for housemaid, you pay like maybe $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Do you have that money? Right? I believe in tools. I buy a lot of tools to make sure that things can get done faster with less energy. And the good news is that, sometimes I look at what people complain about. For me, I just think people are not intentional. Because, for example, to wash my clothes, like in Nigeria, I remember we used to wash with our hands. It was so difficult. Now, all you just need to do is put in the washing machine, put the detergent, 1 hour later, it's done. So how is that so difficult? Even dishwasher. So there are a lot of things that sometimes all we just need to be open-minded, be intentional, and if your wife or your spouse is comfortable, if your wife is doing life is good for them, it's good for you because our psychological well-being affects you. If she's stressed, you're gonna feel the stress. If your guy is stressed, you too, you're gonna feel the stress, right? So we have to help each other and be open-minded. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Samson. Before I get to Mr. Stefano, I want to just let us know again. This is Dear Immigrant Wives. Now, the village meeting has given me, an opportunity to hear from a lot of people privately. And I think that this is real. I want us to focus on the wives and not just like Mr. H said. I think I understand some things that he said. There are people who still have a lot of mindsets back home. Now, like he said, there are wives here who husbands don't even believe in all of these things. I need you to please, when you talk or when you talk about any questions, that's asked or, giving your views and your perspective, can you please help these wives understand how to live, should I use the word happily, or how to work with your husband, how to navigate these challenges, for them to know. Because the truth is that some people here, their husbands are not here, they're not hearing what you're saying, they don't even believe in what you're saying. So how should these women, these wives, how should they navigate these challenges and survive and be happy at the same time? So let's go ahead, Mr. Stefano. Uncle Peter, I'll call you definitely. But please let the panelists go first. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Stefano. And thank you for coming. He was sleeping. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Stefano. Once again, apologies. Joining a bit late. It wasn't intentional. Once again, I thank the panelists, Moye, Nosa, and Ejiro, and then my good guy Samson for already standing in the gap. And also, Onome, thank you for this opportunity to come live and share my thoughts on some of these issues that people have. Like, it's been an ongoing conversation for quite some time now. So, like from the first question, like 50-50. So for me, I listened to like to a bit of what Nosa and Ejiro, like a few things they said about that, and like it's still the same thing. One of the things that we need to do is like we need to actually understand that coming to Canada, a lot has to change. Like back home in Nigeria, the thought process is quite different. So quite different in the sense that a man is being seen to actually get to probably do a lot of things. A woman is not being seen to be that financially stable. Okay, even though this thought process gradually has been changing, like there has been like an upward change. Women, like in places like Lagos, for example, I'll say, like, women see themselves that, oh, see, it's not a man's thing. We have to actually find a way to contribute to the running or the expense of the family, which will also differ when you go to some other places. Like, I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria, which is Igbo land, and Igbo men are ideally like they see it as a thing of pride, to do everything. Okay, they don't want their wife to contribute. They don't want their wife to. They don't want their wife to like to do anything. Your money is your money. I don't care. If you live in a place like Lagos, like it's not like cost of living is a little bit so high, so women tend to actually, bring something to the table. Okay, so well, it's actually a totally different ball game when you move out of the country. So if you find yourself living in places like maybe UK or Canada or US, like it's entirely a different game. So let's take, for example, in Canada, where we find ourselves. 50-50 may not necessarily be ideal. Like I wouldn't say 50-50, but I'll look at it more from an angle where just like what Nosa said, this is two people coming together to become one. Like I feel that part of that verse of the Bible was being made, like it was made for people that live in the Western world. Okay, two people. It's not one person. It's two people coming together. Okay, and so when two people are coming together, it abolishes the 50-50 rule. Okay, like everybody is bringing everything to the table. Like if I'm earning XY amount, my wife is earning XY amount, it means that both of us are going to bring the XY amount to the table. So we have 2XY. So when we have 2XY, then we are now able to say, okay, these are the expenses that we both agreed. Okay. One of the things I see that is a bit of a challenge is this. So men, for example, will probably say, okay, these are my expense. Like these are the expense I would like to run. Now, going to the wife feels that, oh, like, I don't understand why you should be running this kind of expense. Do you understand? And in a way, it can create some sort of conflict. But then this is where, like, being objective, communication actually comes in. Okay? The reason why I'm doing this is because of this. I'm doing this because there is need for me to do this. Like for most times, not every wife will probably understand to say, okay, some money needs to probably go out for like extended family or like black tax, as we probably will call it. You understand? She doesn't see the need of it, and this is also vice versa also on the woman's side. The man too probably will not be saying, why should we have to send money to your parents or and stuff like that? or maybe the man will probably, like, I don't know why we need to probably go and buy an expensive hair of $250,000 or $1,000. Like, it's a whole lot of money. Like, that $1,000 can actually take care of our expenses. You understand? But sometimes it's just probably going to be good. Like, this is a plan, but it still has to be flexible. Okay? If a man is earning more, the man is probably going to be expected to actually do more. If a woman is earning more, the woman is actually going to be expected to actually do more. Because let's tell ourselves the truth. If you leave all the expenses, if you leave all the costs, all the home expenses for a man in a family or a woman in a family, I'll tell you what's going to happen. The man or the woman will actually continue to carry it. But you know what's going to happen? At some point, the man will actually do what? He may probably not even have the man again. Okay? Like in Igbo land, we say there's what we call eche, echtaro. That's, you have thought about everything, and there's nothing else to think about. And that's how a man probably develop maybe high BP or stroke or whatever. Okay? So there's no clear formula. Anybody that whatever you earn, just bring it to the table, and then we can be able to probably do a couple of expenses that's like everybody has actually going to buy into it. And also very important, there is this thing that we fail most of the times to do. Like, communication is key. Okay? I should be able to tell my wife to say, okay, this is the reason. I should be able to convince her to say, okay, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Like, the person, like, if you convince, if you're able to tell your point or say your point to your spouse, your fiance, or whoever she is, she should be able to probably understand the reason why you are doing what you are doing. And also, depending on who the person is, whether the wife or the husband, you know, she also must also try to understand where the man or the woman is coming from. Okay? And then, like, the 50-50, like, I don't know, like, it doesn't work. I'll say this, like, even though the man even probably gets to bring in a lot of money into the family and all that, but I still see the woman actually doing a lot of work in the family. Like, it's a lot of work to actually try to take care of kids, run the home and all that. Okay? The man too should also try to see how he should be able to support in that regard. I know men technically is not wired to actually do some of those, you know, but sometimes just try to be a little bit intentional. Like, for myself, I know that I'm actually very laid back when it comes to like running the home and all that. Like, I leave everything for my wife to do. But sometimes when I come to that consciousness, I try to see how I can be able to support. But naturally, I know men are not wired to say, okay, I need to think about the child, what the child is going to go to school tomorrow. I need to think about the food, the dress, and all that. Okay. And then sometimes when the men are actually trying to do this, the women too should also look for, like, don't make it to say, oh, you are not doing enough. Even though he hasn't done enough, if he has done so little, try to appreciate him or her, try to appreciate him so that he can be able to actually do more. We know that it's not enough, but just that little appreciation can actually, in a way, ginger or putting that fire in him to actually, get to do more. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefano. There is a question I want us all to talk about. I think we have touched every question that we have, or the subtopics that we have on the group. But this one question: how do you navigate money arguments with an unreasonable spouse? This is a question from a wife. How do you navigate money arguments with an unreasonable spouse? Who wants to go first?
Just walk away, man.
Yeah.
Just walk
Okay.
away. I'm not gonna lie
Send
to
them
you.
to
I'm telling
CRA.
you.
Yeah.
No, it's not
Okay.
even
So
that. Go ahead, Samson. Just walk away. I just give you an example, right? You see this money matter, right? It's a very, very funny matter. For example, do not take material things seriously. I'm not even lying. I can walk away from anything as long as I have my passport, my certificate, and I will restart from anywhere. So if any spouse thinks that you want to move everything, take everything, I don't care. But the point is this: when the person does not want to listen to fundamental principles of come auntie or come uncle, let's Jojo and Jojo. There's a goal. So there's something that people say, and sometimes it's true, sometimes it's wrong, that men are more strategic, women are more tactical. Women are detail oriented. They focus.
You are muted. Yeah, unmute yourself.
Sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. They focus on the processes that just every day, right? But the guys are looking at like 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Now, those two are needed in a marriage. But unfortunately, and I'm not blaming the women. I'm blaming men and women now. If the man is too strategic to see tactical, and the woman is too tactical to see strategic, you're gonna have problems. So what then happens is this: people just walk away from the argument, and we just keep pushing it in down the road, which is very, very, very painful because some people don't want to argue because, like, sometimes, I'll give you an example. When an argument starts, right, and you bring up something that happened 10 years ago, I'm like, I don't understand where that came from. So me, I just leave everything and walk away because we're trying to realistically solve a problem here, but you brought what I did 20 years ago, even before we got married. How are you bringing that up? So that for me is unrealistic. But I guess that's the way some species work, whether man or woman. So unfortunately, and I'm going to say this, in the society where we come from, if things go wrong, whether we like it or not, it is still going to be the man's fault. I'll repeat that. In the society where we come from, if things go wrong, if you do not plan enough, again, I still go back to retirement, and they look back and say, guy, why didn't your wife didn't want to save? Why didn't you force her? You can't force your wife. You're in Canada, right? You can't force your wife to understand why there's a need for financial prudence or there's a need for you to have a joint cooperation to reach the goal or the objective. So for me, I've said that the man will always lose the PR battle, the public relations battle, I mean. Because if anything goes wrong, 90% of the time, the perception is that the guy is wrong. This is why most men die of hypertension. That's another topic for another day. Because they don't want to argue with you. Now, if you marry somebody you cannot be vulnerable in front of. See, forget about all these men here, these 6 men, these 5 men here. At some point, they have cried, they have physically cried. But how many of you have allowed your wife see you physically cry? Like physically cry. You lost a spouse or something is too heavy on your heart and tears drop from your eyes. But most of the time, our wives don't see that. Because culturally, we're supposed to be macho men. So when you get to a spousal argument where it's not going forward, my own solution, unfortunately, it's not the right solution, it's not the right one, I tell you. It breaks my heart. It is stressful to me that I cannot reach a resolution where we can have an argument peacefully and then land at a solution with my wife. So I just leave it and go and sleep and drink water. That's my solution. I don't know if it works for the rest of you guys, though. That's where I'll leave it.
That's amazing. Honestly, my heart broke with something you said just now. As in, my heart just broke. But thank you so much for bringing that out. All right. People accusing me. People who have their hands up. Uncle Peter, what do you want to say? Please go ahead. My panelists, I'm so sorry. Can you please give me 1 minute so we can hear Uncle Peter? He's such an amazing person. Uncle Peter, I'm sorry. Your hand is they say your hand is spinning you. I'm so sorry about that. So, is he okay? Is the hand okay now? How dare I, Onome, allow Uncle Peter to have his hand up for so long? Okay, Uncle Peter, are you there? No? Okay. Let's
sorry. Oh no, please, can I just say one thing? I swear to God, I won't say anything anymore.
I
watched a clip yesterday on this court where people bring their spouse to in America. So they did a DNA test, right, and found out that this man had taken care of a child who was not his child for so many years, right? So the mom was with him. Now, this woman, I'm just trying to talk about emotional intelligence and what men go through in marriages, right? This once the judge said, Mr. A and so and so, this child is not yours. This woman broke down and was crying. Oh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. This man stood aloof and tears was running from his eyes. Nobody went to him. The whole court went to the woman who supposedly committed adultery and had a child outside. All the emotions went to the woman. Everybody's hugging the woman and saying, oh, woman, sorry, sorry. Okay, we know it was a mistake. My guy is broken, tears in his eyes, shaking. Nobody looked at it.
Can
The
you hear
point
me?
is, the point again is it goes back to why are we getting married in the first place? Before we can talk about this financial thing, right? Who do you understand who you're marrying? Guys, men, that's why I say, guys, take care of yourself, physically, health wise. Even me, I'm trying to talk to myself differently because we will always lose the PR battle. It will always be against us, right? And if we need to be vulnerable if we can, but unfortunately we can't. In the society we're in, men are supposed to suck it up and just move on. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Osa. Thank
Can
you
you
for
hear
giving
me?
that aspect. Yes, Uncle Peter, I can hear you. You have 1 minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So,
Mm.
uh, everything that's been said is fantastic, and I want to speak from the perspective of women. I would have put on my camera, but I don't have makeup today. So, I, I see that a lot of people coming to this union marriage without having a full understanding of what it is. In all my years of experience, I've noticed that marriage is a universal language. It is one thing that every culture on earth has. Yet, it's the most misunderstood institution. Whilst love is enough to start a marriage, I've found that it's not enough to sustain it. To sustain marriage, you need a lot of responsibility. But what you see is that in our societies today, we want to be seen as people who love their spouses. We want to be seen more as people who love their spouses and less as people who are responsible to their spouses. Having said all of this, to the women, and let me speak to the men first. It's important that we understand the weight that we carry. It doesn't matter if things go well. When it goes well, the woman is praised. When it fails, it's the man's fault, and we have to bear that responsibility. If we go biblical, the man is there and I'll make him a helpmate. So our wives are not there to become the pillars or whatever it is we can define it as. They are there to help us. So we have to bear a big part of the burden of running a family. If you have, for me, I don't know if 50-50 is a good way to run a marriage because you can split finances 50-50, but this bleeds into many other things. He could tell you that you would split chores 50-50, we would split baby time 50-50, and this becomes an issue. So when we trust the person we went into a marriage with, we can begin from there to solve our issues. And trust can only come. I think a lot of people need to go for therapy, men, women. And as married couples, we need to go to therapy together. There's biases that we have that is influencing the way we treat our spouses, which we don't even know we have these biases. And so our actions, our words bleed into the perception our partners have of us, which is why they are holding on to their finances. Perchance you bail tomorrow. And this is a serious issue, especially on the part of women. I don't know what the statistics say, but from my perspective, I think there's more men earning more money than there's women. So a woman would always want to protect herself, especially in this part of the world where they have the power of the state behind them. We can argue about that, but we all know it's the truth. And if she, perchance, if anything happens to her and she's not financially stable, she's gonna suffer. So when you come to this person who has this perception and you say 50-50 to her, your happiness as a man has disappeared. Because
Thank
Dr.
you.
P, I buy you one beer.
all right,
I don't know where
all
Dr.
right,
I don't know
all
who
right.
Dr. P is. So Dr. P, I've never met you, but God will bless you for that class. And I owe you a bottle of beer wherever I meet you. If you don't drink beer, I'll buy you Zobo. But just show me your picture.
He doesn't drink. Just send it to me, please.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to be giving panelists like 1 minute now to talk. So yeah, whose hand went up first? Adriel. Oh, it was it. But Adriel, you can go ahead. Please, can we just, because time is really running very fast.
It was Samson. Samson's hands went up first. Samson,
Okay.
please.
Samson, please go ahead.
I think Uncle Peter just touched on what I wanted to mention, because when you're dealing with someone who's unreasonable, you know, you have to be careful with your words, because there's verbal abuse there, right? So anything you say can be used against you. And that goes for either party, whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. Like therapy, that's the only option. You guys have to go to therapy. You may probably have to involve, it depends on how you are connected in the community. Sometimes some people will, they will bring in religious elders. I've seen situations that have gotten to that level, because this guy went to Nigeria, brought this lady. Before she started working, he was the one taking care of all the bills, everything. Now she started working, and she's keeping all her money and like sending her money back to her family in Nigeria. And the guy was like, come on, at least take care of something. No. You are the husband, you have to take care of everything. And it got to a point that the only option for this guy was just to try and, bring in like religious leaders in their church. Because you have to look at, okay, if you cannot have that conversation by yourself, because this person is not going to listen to you, who does she respect? It's technically advisable to resolve your issues by yourself without involving third party. But at some point, if it gets out of control, then you need help. Professionally, you go for therapy or counseling. Then if you go do it our own Nigerian way, look for your religious leaders or people or maybe family members that they trust, they listen to. And then I would say good luck, because even doing all those might still not work. And that boils down to the expectation. Because if you set the wrong expectation before marriage, idea is very difficult to change it. Right? For me, while I was dating, I know a lady who will be supporting, because I test you. You will not know unwittingly. I'm testing you. Because if you have never actually, let's say, bought me gifts, like, not even think about me. It's all about you. I won't say it. And I'm also like looking at that person, evaluate, is he really interested because of my money or because of something I have? No. Yes, granted, everybody married we all have that selfish reasons why we marry, right? You're married is why, because wife is very beautiful, right? So I mean, let's be honest, we have that reason why we go after somebody, right? But you also have to look beyond that first reason. You have to look at other things, because once you set the wrong expectation, difficult to change it though. When you have set the expectation that I'm the provider, I'm the odogu, and the girl has that understanding, and now you want to change it, it's too late now. So it's probably not the ladies, but if you have set the right expectation from the onset, like, hey, we contribute together, we work together as a family, that person will probably get the memo from the beginning. I feel like, okay, is this my guy or not?
Mr. Samtop, the question is, how do you, this is a marriage table. This is not what here right now. How do you navigate money arguments with an unreasonable spouse? Yeah, we cannot be setting.
My first answer, my perspective will be, if you're not able to have a peaceful dialogue or conversation with that person to resolve it, to talk about your, money issues. Like I said, budgeting. You will need to, like, this is how much we spend in a month. This is how much comes in. How do we contribute to make sure that we address these bills? If you are not able to do that, then you would need professional help, therapy, counseling, or you need to reach out to whoever your partner or your spouse respects, that they listen to. Everybody has somebody that they listen to, they respect, right? It could be their parent, it could be their religious leader. There's always that somebody that if they talk to, they listen to them. If you are not able to undo it in-house by yourself, then you need help. That's the truth.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Right.
I hope I'm not disrespectful.
Yes.
Hold on, please.
Okay.
I'll just be, stopping you if you go more than 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's what I'll do, because
All right.
the time is really
Okay.
very, very fast. Mr. Moyo, please go ahead.
Do you want Adriel to?
Was it Adriel?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Adriel. Please go ahead.
No worries at all. It's okay. So how do you handle a spouse that is being unreasonable? There are many layers to that question. That means you're asking the spouse to do something in the financial side of things, and the spouse is not responding, right? My recommendation would be this. As Nigerians, we have been traumatized so much that we don't even know, right? By our culture, about how we have certain expectations. So the first thing I would recommend is check your expectations. What are you expecting? Now, Nosa said something that was very key. And when he said it, I found out that I was guilty. I mentioned that I've been married for 14 years, but my wife had only seen me cry twice. Now, when he choked, 9 didn't come, right? So check your expectations, right? And when you check your expectation, one thing I found out quickly when we came together was that I found out that as Nigerians, we're very sympathetic people, but we're not empathic. We don't know how to put ourselves in the other person's shoes, which was mad. I was like, but Nigerians, we're quick to say sorry. We're saying sorry, but we don't understand what you're saying because we have our mindset of how it's supposed to be.
Three goes are for you.
So when you begin to put those things into perspective, right? He might be unreasonable, not because of the financial matter that is in front. It might just be other pressures that he is reacting to.
I agree.
So one thing you want to do as well is you want to check in on him. Like, I know the man I married. I know you are an excellent man, and I know you love me very much. Why is us going for vacation such a big issue? Talk to me. Let me know. So you see what I've done? What I've done is I have raised him up. You wanna let him know that he's not the enemy. Because sometimes when you keep asking that question again, he starts feeling like he's the enemy, that she doesn't get it. That she doesn't get it. And it might just keep digging. So the other thing too, Nosa, this one is for you, because I've tried that walking away. The more you walk away, right? If there are men here, this is for the men. The more you walk away, the more you create a space. And that trust becomes a distance because you're really not dealing with the issue that is on ground. My own me, I'll just walk out because I know the talk. I can't. So here are the things again. So remember, check what your expectations are. Find a way is to know, as in, what's in the happen. Is he depressed? Is he having troubles of work and stuff like that? Then learn to put yourself in his shoes. Remind yourself of what he had to do, even if it's not making sense. Now, he had made sense at one point in time for you, this beautiful Black woman, to decide that this is the person that you want to marry. So try and remember that. And when you do that, the Bible tells us something about what a wife can do, that, and with time, it's not like it's a magical thing. Sometimes it might take a while. but your patience works. The words you speak to him works. Do you understand? And eventually, hopefully, he comes to that point, never underestimate the place of prayer as well. I hope that helps. Onome said there are a lot of people here that are having that. I've had my fair share, but I hope that this little advice, help gets you on the right course, because you're already in it. You can't just walk away. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adriel. Let's hear from you, Moyo. Your hand was up, or
Yeah. So when it comes to unreasonable partner, like this person is unreasonable, what do you want to tell the person? Let's face it, somebody's pretending to be asleep and you're trying to wake the person up. It's easy. It's easy, when we have partners that are reasonable. It's very easy. But
when someone they pretend to sleep, put water on top face, wake up.
It will snore. Seriously. See, we are saying this now. It's easy because we have partners that are reasonable. I'll give you a very typical example. I have a big bros in the UK. Now, the wife, this is somebody that anytime she steps out of the house, she must bring something. She will bring a bag, either from Primark or she doesn't need it though. She will bring it in. They've spoken with her, they've, have this conversation with her. You need to see, this person was born, she moved to the UK at a very young age. So she's been in the UK for a long time. She doesn't even have a shop to her name. She's working, both of them are working, but she doesn't know how to save. She spends recklessly. The husband have, talked to her, did everything, but she still does the same thing. What do you expect that man to do? When you're dealing with somebody that is unreasonable, there's nothing you can do to that person. See, we talk about therapy and all of that. Therapy only works for people that want to learn or that are willing to submit themselves for therapy. You can go to therapy for 1 year and you come out even worse. Because as the thing is entering here, it's coming out from here. As they are saying it's what's inside your mind that you want to do, that you go and do. Right? So for me, I just feel like if somebody is unreasonable, yes, you will not push them away at first. You will try your best. Try your best, by communicating with the person, of course, prayer and all of that. Sorry, licensed therapist doesn't guarantee success. Yeah, I thought you said guarantee. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You also communicate with the person, talk to the person, right? But when it comes to a point where you've tried everything, this person is not listening to you, this person is not being reasonable, I will just leave the person. That's me. I will leave the person. See, remember at the beginning when we talked about this 50-50, I said it has to be fair and it has to be reasonable. That's the only way to work.
Sorry, Moyo.
Yeah.
I think what Onome was saying, as in, I just want to bring you back because I want us to help the ladies here. He's saying if the man is the one being unreasonable, not the lady. So you, from the one perspective, if he's being unreasonable,
it could go either way too.
I'm not focused on a man or a woman.
Yeah.
It could be either way.
Yeah.
We have men too that are very unreasonable. They go out, spend money anyhow, and then in the house, there's nothing at home. We have them. So we can't pretend like this is just a woman thing.
Or
it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Both ways, you have to do the same thing, right? You have to talk to the person first. If the person is not willing to listen to you, you can try mediation, like get somebody that knows them, that can talk to them. See, whether we like it or not, we all have at least one person somewhere that can talk to us and will listen. Maybe for that moment. Later, you can say, okay, you're not listening, but at least for that moment, somebody will talk to you and you can listen to. Find that person, try and involve that person. But if you get to a point that you've tried all of that, my brother, my sister, I will just ignore. That's me. I'll just continue to do my thing. Somebody that is not unreasonable, you've tried everything. That's it.
Okay, someone is saying, when you say leave, are you saying move out or leave her to keep?
No. Okay, so when I say leave, it's not like I'm leaving the marriage, right?
Okay, yeah, very important.
I'll continue to do my own thing that I'm supposed to do, but I will not depend on the person to help me navigate.
Baba, I beg move out of marriage. But that thing go sap your energy. I beg control hot delete completely. See, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you
Sorry,
one
can
thing.
you introduce yourself? Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Dr. Who. Yeah, so
Doctor Who. Thank you,
and
Doctor Who, but we haven't called you yet. We haven't called you. Do you
Camera,
want
please.
to?
Camera, please, for
okay,
Dr. Wu.
sorry.
Video must be on. Thank you.
Exactly,
No,
Doctor Who. Doctor Who, if you don't put on your video, you're not saying anything. Okay.
So let me
I'm
say
kidding.
why I don't buy the idea of leaving the marriage. Yes, it can be draining, when you keep doing, keep correcting people to do the same thing over and over again. But
Yeah.
I don't think that's a ground for divorce or a ground for breaking your marriage.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
me. I don't believe that is a ground for it. But you have to find a way, to manage that situation in such a way that this person is not part of this journey for me. See, this person might be reckless financially, but be doing other things fantastically in the home.
Absolutely.
So we don't say because this person is reckless financially or this person is not reasonable when it comes to finance, will not do any other thing, or the person is not. I mean, before we say we are getting married, no matter how, even if it's what's it called, blind date or whatever it is, even if it's WhatsApp joined together, you absolutely see something in that person.
Yeah.
Before you agree
Okay,
to.
I have a question. I don't know if you guys have. Sorry, Moya, I need to cut you there because of
Yeah.
time. There's a lady asking, how do I start a conversation with my husband on money issues? Just give us, probably a few sentences. How do you start it? How can I get across to you? How can I get across to him? So just give us a few sentences. Yes. Go ahead. If it's Nosa, anyone, Ejiro, something.
You guys,
okay,
Stefano, go ahead.
After Stefano, I can go.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go. So I'm quite confused. Like, how do you start conversation? So I'll also ask, how do you start sex conversation with your husband?
Start with foreplay.
Do you understand? So if you can start that move, if you can make that move, you understand?
Yeah.
So there's this popular it's not an idiom, but it has become like a popular statement to say everybody gets mumu button. You understand? I also believe that there is a button that you press, your husband is activated for sex. You should also find that button to press so that you can actually do what? Start that conversation of finances or everything. So it shouldn't be something hard. Like people should be open to talk to each other. People should be open to express their feeling. People should be open, just like what Moyo, like continuous communication. You need to keep talking, and then I don't see any responsible man not wanting to have that communication of finances or growth or retirement planning just
Don't
name
forget
it.
we talked about unreasonable. You say you have not seen a responsible man. Don't forget we just talked about unreasonable.
Yeah, I say I've not seen a responsible man that wouldn't want to have that conversation. Okay. So like the woman is saying, how do I start it? Every man has a mumu button. If he wants to be, probably when you guys are doing it, you have to find a way. You understand? And it's not even what we are going to say here that is going to, is the solution, right? Like everybody have their own situation, and based on your own situation, you should be able to find what works for you. Because what works for me may not be able to work for Nosa or work for Samson. Like, if you're a woman, if you're a man, you must be able to find what works for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Stefano. This question. Is it this question that you want to answer? Okay, please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, so like Stefano mentioned, it's something you should talk about. You should not be scared of your partner. If you're scared of your partner, then there's a problem. If you cannot express your thoughts, your feelings to your partner, there is a problem.
Correct.
Right. Now, but there are some things you should be mindful of. Your tone, be polite, be respectful. Don't bring up the conversation. This guy, you did spend recklessly. Oh yeah, come, let's sit down, let's talk. He or she's not gonna listen to you, right? Everybody likes to be treated with respect, right? And if you speak polite, even if he or she has done something wrong, and you want to address it, but you still address it with respect, with love, with the intention that you care about that person, I think they'll be much more interested to listen than you just come like you start pointing fingers. Oh, who spent this credit card money now, bill now? What's this? That's already you've put up like you put up a reason for that person to say, no, I don't want to listen to this, right? But if you come up with, babe, let's talk about this, it's about our future. Let's even talk about budgeting. How much do we make? How much are we spending a month? And you let this person know that the intention is for the family good. If there's a benefit for people, when there's anything that they know that there's something in for them, they are interested. But if you bring in the conversation as if there's nothing in for them, it's all about you, then like, okay, why do I care? But if it's like, oh, this is all for our benefits, it's for our family growth, it's for our family prosperity. We need to have a conversation about family needs, financial needs, and structure things or strategize so that we can achieve our family financial goals. I think they will be more likely to listen. Thank you.
So, Mr. Sampson, that's one thing I want you to do today yourself, Nosa and Edro, because you work in the financial sector. Just to give us a brief explanation about how to budget, both with wives and husband. But if you don't mind, to our panelists, there are some people whose hands have been raised and they are sending me personal messages saying
Uncle Pizza? I thought we were going to call him when Arsenal wins the Champions League.
Mr. Ola Ofela. Mr. Fela, if you are still there, yeah? Yes, Moyo.
Just before you call them, I just wanted to, add something I said earlier. Now, what Samson said is fine when you're dealing with a partner that is reasonable. Don't forget that we are talking about a partner that is unreasonable.
Yep.
All of these things will work in an ideal situation. But when you're dealing with somebody that is unreasonable, let me give you a very practical example of this person I was talking about in the UK. Now, the wife is very reckless. He's the one that would do the work, bring money in, but this woman would just squander everything. Guess what he did? He had a conversation with a couple of his friends, myself inclusive, and then we're like, if you continue this way, you will realize that after years of being in the UK, you will come back home with nothing. This is somebody that I've been in the UK for. In fact, my very first trip to the UK, I stayed with him. So he has been in the UK long before myself. He doesn't have a land in Nigeria. Guess what he did? In fact, during COVID, I don't know if some of you remember, during COVID in the UK, they were giving businesses loan, like almost at no interest rate. They were giving them loan. Both of them collected loan. This woman handled everything that she collected. But the guy, he kept his own. This woman has collected student loan, like on 4 occasions that I know. She changes her name to collect student loan. She will spend everything. Now, this is what this guy did. He took the money, right? And he started investing in properties in Nigeria. You know why? Because he's thinking about his own future. Now, the wife, after spending his own money or our own money, come back to say, okay, I don't have money. All the money that I collected then, I used it to pay off our credit card. Now, what he was doing is for the family, because eventually it's the family that will benefit from the house that he built in Nigeria. But if he had released the money to the wife, he would not have anything. Today, as we speak, I talked about COVID. The money was just around COVID, after COVID. Today, he has about 4 properties in Nigeria. This is somebody that had no single land before COVID, and he has been in the UK for over a decade. So you have to be intentional about this thing. Some unreasonable partner would want to frustrate you. But you, as a man or as a woman, will have to think about your future, because when it happens, it's going to be you and on you alone.
Yeah, very
Okay,
good.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Moyo.
No,
So
let me
just
just
hold
add.
on. Okay,
Okay, yeah, let me add something.
please,
Yeah.
can you do 1 minute? Please go ahead.
Yes. Moye, it's very good that you actually gave some context to your point. So I'll say there are some people say there are some secrets, right, you take to your grave. Okay. This may also be one of those things that you have to actually find a way to accommodate and take to your grave. If the woman is maybe like 100% on other areas, and just on that particular area, that's where she's probably not up to expectation. So if that's the only thing, because no woman they complete, they must always get one small comma. So if that's the only thing, my brother, just find a way, contain it, and keep managing it. And that is your own, curse. If you call it curse or plague, just carry it and just they go. Okay, some people are like that, and we just
No
have
man
to
they
find
complete.
If you
Stefano,
carry am, I can't go give you
no,
IBP. Nko.
no man they complete. So I want to go back to the 1 minute you gave us. Let me just say a few things. And you said initially, Jalili said, and forget about future and think about now, and I laughed. so basically, I want to say something. Onoma, you said something. So when I first saw the title, "Dear Immigrant Wives," I thought maybe so it means you're trying to address our women. So let me do both. Dear Immigrant Husbands, let's just be a little bit accommodating. Let's just listen. These women have sense. 100% of the time. And sometimes it may be the approach that is not great, and we tend to take offense, and we know we like respect, and we like a little bit of ego rubbing, but sometimes in all of that, let's not shoot the messenger, but listen to the message. And dear immigrant wives, my darling immigrant wives, Edmonton based or better based, I really want to say to you guys, we need you people. I'm begging you. We need you. We cannot get to the goal without you people. I swear to God, we're gonna go around circles without you. We're gonna come. We will get to the end of the road, and it will feel like we took a basket to the river without you people. Now, the misconception that this I have to hold some money or hold, so that it happens a lot. It happens a lot with women. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I have to say this. Where women are holding money because they don't trust the other partner, rightly or wrongfully. We understand. We are begging you that we cannot get to this point that we're looking for without you. Secondly, my mom says something. My mom is Benin, but she speaks Yoruba very well. She says, meaning you cannot kill the horse, right? If your husband has never cried in front of you, if you have been married for 5 years, your husband has never broken down to say, baby, I don't know what I want to do. Sister, check yourself. It means your husband cannot be vulnerable in front of you, and it means he's hiding a lot of things from you. It means his blood pressure is going up. If you can never rub the guy's head and say, guy, come, what did it happen? Wow. Then something is happening. Thirdly, immigrant wives. We need, again, I have to go back to the reason that we need you people, because it's important. We cannot fight this battle. Not especially in this UK, in this Canada we're in, sorry. The system is made in such a way that, I'll give you an example. In banking system, when you do it's called a PSOA, personal statement of net worth, right? When you do it, they put your wife's name there. It means you don't own anything alone. Somebody say cry husband. It's true. See, I'm telling you the things that men hoard, the thing that men don't tell you people, right? When you see their face and they sit down and like, hey, man, what's happening? You all keep quiet, say, no worry, babes, everything is okay. Then you go upstairs, he's watching a movie, he's cracking his brain. Tomorrow, his body's hot in the morning. I'm just saying. So when you go back to that personal net worth form, that you feel to collect a loan from the bank or anything, if you're married, they put, are you married? Yes. Put your spouse out, well, because you own everything together. It just shows there's a reason. the way the system is structured here is that you cannot go far except you win the lottery. And what are the chances? You cannot go far without your spouse being on the same page with you. So back to the question of how can I deal with an unreasonable person, or how can I start a conversation with my husband about finances? Great question, very good question, because that thing they cause problem, right? My sister or my brother, one way is, unfortunately, our spouses listen to the voice of another person before they listen to us. It's natural.
Yeah,
They will listen to another person before they listen to us. So there's a guy called David Ramsey. He's a money expert. He's on YouTube. His videos are free. He's very brash. If you have a thing to pass on to your spouse and you fear the spouse, just send the person a link of David Ramsey, and David Ramsey will do the job for you. Right? Things like that. I'm just saying, if it's a book you buy for husbands who read, present a book. If it's a link you see, sometimes if my wife do me one bad thing and I see one meme for social media, I go put on for my story. She go see, I'm saying, I mean, they talk to her, I say, yeah, not really, but if the shoe fits, let them wear. But those are the subtle ways you can actually start a conversation with your spouse. But I just want to end with, ladies, please, I am begging you again, we cannot arrive at success without you people, right? Please just understand that you're a partner in the PLC. You are a co-MD CEO. If you guys do not have a quarterly check, if you don't have a financial review, if every time the guy says, let's do something jointly, and you say no, that company will go bankrupt in no time. So I'll leave it here.
That's so amazing. Adriel, please go ahead. No, sir.
All right. No, sir. One bottle.
No, sir.
One bottle. No, sir. One bottle for you. Only one. Only one. How do you start a conversation? So one thing is known. Conversations that are started with facts always go right. And conversations that are started with questions always go right. So if you start the conversation with...
Sorry, you say conversations that start with what? I didn't hear the first part, please.
With facts.
With facts.
Bro, I don't think so. If you bring
bro,
facts,
wait, I will explain.
Bro, women are emotional. Forget facts.
Wait. Calm down.
Facts, no, they walk.
Two things. Conversation that starts with facts never go wrong. Conversation that starts with questions never go wrong. When you combine both those things together, you have the silver bullets. So you start the conversation like this. Hey, babe, have you thought about us owning a second home? Or have you thought about us going on vacation? So what you're doing is that you're trying to know where his mind is at. When you know where his mind is at, you would know what second question to follow up. Not starting a conversation with, why are we not going to vacation? No, you're asking to find out something. Then he might say something like, it's just that the expenses are too much right now. Then you can say something like, I know you're trying so much, right? But I think we can do this. Then you make a suggestion. That's when you come up with your own idea. Now, why do I say when you start something with facts, right? In this case, facts is not your opinion, right? So there was this conversation. So we just bought our second home, and this conversation, this is how. In my house, it's different. The role is different. I have to present to madam to convince her for us to do something. So when I saw that the housing market prices were going up, my wife doesn't like it when I get involved in an investment that stresses me. Because as I be hide too, I know it's also distress me. So I carry facts. So I said, see, we have enough savings now to buy a second home. And she started asking me questions. And when she was asking the questions, I was presenting the fact that, like, this is what we're doing now, this is what we're doing now, this is what we're doing now, and this is how we can get there. At the end of the day, because I didn't go there to say, why are we not buying a second home? I went there bringing her into the conversation. It made the conversation go well. That's how you use your facts. You don't use your facts to shame the person. You use your facts to get the person on your side of things. So, how do you start a conversation? Questions and facts. It always helps. It has helped me, and I reckon it will help you as well. And everything Nusa said too as well. It is key. Thank you.
Onome, I just want to let me quickly just respond to that. So, Ejiro, thank you for the point on facts. But let me tell you something. In reality, facts. In fact, from my experience, women they most times they don't like facts. That's what I've experienced.
So wait, so I would stop you there, Samson.
Yeah.
Samson, we're here for women, and the first thing you're doing is that you're putting them in a bad
Okay,
box,
I'm sorry.
they're not reasonable.
I'm very sorry, but what I've learned is sometimes emotional connection is very important. Like they need. How many people have iPhone here? Did you buy iPhone just because it can take picture? No. The fact is it can take picture, but there are other phones that can take picture. Techno can take pictures. Samsung can take picture, but when iPhone is selling, the advert is based on your feeling. There's some people buy iPhone because it's like, this is a premium brand, it's the best. Yeah. They're not buying because like I have this argument between Samsung and iPhone. I'm a big fan of Samsung Android. But if you see people arguing for iPhone, man, you're like, wow.
So who is iPhone?
Something you're correct, right? You're very correct. But where Israel was talking about is this, right? So instead of being a professor and coming and being, the housing market is this is this, right? You are starting out with facts, right? And I actually thought I was on your side, Samson, until I listened to what Israel was saying. When you start with that, you're going to lose the battle, I can tell you, because of what you have portrayed as emotion sometimes. But what Israel is saying is this: questions, then facts that follow, meaning you have done your homework. So if the woman asks you, Oga, why would they do this thing? Right? Baby, okay, that's a great question. Or say, see, we don't save 100K for somewhere, right? Okay, so if we pay 100K down, what will be our monthly payment? Baby, that's a correct question. No? If interest at 5%, so if we break down by weekly, will they pay like this? So then Age now comes up and says, okay, you know what? If we pay this house finish by the time we're 65, we don't get like 500K equity for the house. If you use it until retire, me and you go.
But what if your wife is not interested in all that? What if your wife is not interested in only the second home?
And that's why
it's not everybody that is interested in that. Some people just want to have vacation, enjoy their life. Like Jelili said, what about future? I don't care about future.
So Samson, are you interested? You're interested, right?
So this is where I'm saying, trying to make that emotional connection into what somebody likes is very important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't make that emotional connection, you can sell all the facts.
So to your point, you're very correct. You're very correct, Samson. So let me give you a point on how to do that.
Emotional connection is very important.
So you said something.
Sell your idea.
I agree with you. The emotions are, and we're saying the same thing. The emotions are, I want to go on a holiday, right? Like me, I'm a salesman. I believe I can sell anything to you. It's always features and benefits, right? What are the features of this car? The airbag will save you if accident come. An airbag will deploy. If it deploys, it saves your chest. And you don't have accident. If I don't have accident, I will not die. If I don't die, I'm going to come home, baby, to make love to you later in the night. And if you make love, we'll go for holiday.
But no, sir.
So, wait now. So the emotional piece there. The emotional piece there is this. So you now know that your wife's foreplay language is holiday. Perfect. Baby, you know what? That holiday where you won't go, we go on. If we get this extra buffer, right? It's just deferred gratification. Let's wait small. Let's do small. We'll do small holidays inside Canada. But you know what? If we're able to get that extra income, at the end of the month, then we can now go for Bahamas. We can go everywhere. The idea, and I agree with you, something in real life, because your own egg will come out, say, man, when they worry this one, why should not hear what? Right? Then the woman will say, they worry this guy, see they talk, I want to go holiday. So both of you will be clashing. So again, if you adopt, I'm not going to lie to you guys, we had this issue with my wife when we were married. I hope she doesn't have friends here. Well, if she does, it's all well and good. Last case, divorce. We had the issue of me. I'm a carefree person. Just give my $200 to fill my gas. Hold the money. I don't care about this money thing, right? As long as you manage it well. But she's a very individualistic person. she's grown to be very dependent on herself and knows how to manage herself through. Some people don't like sharing their space. Some people just don't want. They want to do their things by themselves. They're organized to a certain T. That if you bring in your own wahala, you're going to disrupt their whole plans. So I have to use that features and benefits things, right? I have to beg sometimes. I have to toast sometimes. I have to, sometimes I go vex. But at the end of the day, if I vex, where do I get to? I don't get anywhere. So it goes back to what both of us are saying. Something you're very, very correct. You have to find that emotional piece that connects it to that person. And then, Adrian, I believe your method of saying questions first. Then you now back up with facts. Correct facts. Personal facts, not the facts that Minister of CRA said. The fact that you did yourself will help. Because, bro, man, sometimes you want to really walk out and say, and to Moyo's point, I'm that person who doesn't want confrontation, right? So if you begin your boss, I'll run. I go see your house, go drink one beer, then I go sleep by the time I come back. But it doesn't help. So I feel that we're saying the same thing. Samson was saying the same thing. AJ was saying the same thing. Is how you say it. It's not what you say, but how you say it. That's a little bit that I've learned.
Yeah. Can I say something quickly as a woman?
Hold on, please. Hold on. We want to hear from Fela. I deeply apologize. Fela, Moses, let's hear from both of you before Omola comes up to say something. Fela, are you there? Mr. Moses, are you there? What about Rhoda? For people whose hands have been up for a long time. If you're not there, then we give it to Omola.
I'm
okay,
here.
Thank you. 3, 2, 1. Okay, Rhoda, there you go.
Okay, thank you, Onome, and thank you to the panelists. All the panelists are my Oga, so I don't have much to say.
You be Oga, I don't like that.
Oga, no, sir. I just want to throw a word of caution when we talk about partners being unreasonable. I understand Moyo's example of an extreme case of someone being unreasonable. My point regarding being unreasonable is sometimes, I would say, for most of us, whether you're a man or a woman, we've been unreasonable in some instances in our marriage.
Yes, sir.
We cannot deny that fact. And sometimes what we see as being unreasonable from the other person is we lacking the understanding of their needs.
Mr. Fela, can you hold on, please? Are you able to turn off the camera? Thank you. We want to know everyone. Yes, we want to know everyone who's talking.
I don't have my makeup on too, like Pizza.
Thank you, Mr. Fela. I want to see your handsome face. Thank you so much.
Sorry, who is Mr. Fela?
Can you see my face?
See someone that did not want to put on camera.
Go ahead. Why you know when Adio Papa shirts?
Anyway, so a lot of times it's because we lack the understanding of the other person's need. So when we don't understand, it doesn't make sense to us. We say the person is being unreasonable. I'm not speaking to extreme cases like, example of Moyo, but for most part, so because I don't see reason in what you're saying, then I think it's unreasonable. But sometimes I'm the one lacking that understanding. I cannot lean into it. It doesn't make sense, right? Then I think that the person is unreasonable. So I think sometimes we need to first step back and be sure that, do I really understand this person's need? Do I understand their perspective? I'm not just being selfish here, and I think the person is being unreasonable. Because what might not be important to you might be very important to that person. I'll give you an example, and I'll be very vulnerable. Most of you know it's my wife. She loves to look nice and dress fine and all that, and she's not lazy. She works very hard. But because I'm the financial controller and the CFO of the house, I need to ensure that the books are balanced and, things are done properly. So so sometimes I try to want to go the route of you spending. But to be honest, sometimes when I see that, I'm not the type that I love to shop and all that. But sometimes when I just give it, some thoughts to how much I've sent to somebody that needs help to do this, wants to get married. Sometimes, to be honest, it's actually more than the money that she's spending on those things. But if I'm just seeing it from my own, you're shopping again. I used to joke with that you go to the mall to return clothes, you bring more. But if I'm seated on that, I would say, oh, she's not reasonable. But no, she is not. She is not. So I think we need to step back and understand that we need to understand and not just be selfish, because sometimes as men, we think we're not spending a lot of money. But if you think about some of the things we spend money on, they're actually way more than what some women do spend on that you think they're unreasonable. So that on the unreasonable part, in terms of what you can do, some of the things you can do also is to push some of those accountability to the woman or to the man that you think it's been unreasonable. And how can you do that? I mean, and I'm working with the assumption that both of you are on the same page as to what your financial goals are, what you want to achieve financially. So let's assume that is sorted, you're on the same goal. But now is maybe somebody is going outside of the plan, spending money that is not been, there's no provision for. You can, have a budget for yourself to say, you know what, this is all we have on the table. How much do you think you would need on a monthly basis? And allocate that money in a separate account, whatever, to that person. So they know, if I finish spending this money this month, I don't have anything else. I'll wait for next. I'm not talking about grocery or bills. I'm talking about allocating something for them, for their own personal use, that you don't need to know what they are spending the money on. Both of you can agree. So for example, if it's, every month you take $500 or $300, depending on your budget. And it could change over time to say, you take $500 for yourself, whatever you want to spend it on, it's your call. So they know, because sometimes it's because they know they have that. You'll be amazed how they will spend that money. Now, because now you're pushing that accountability to them, and they know you're not controlling them. You're not asking them not to spend on whatever they want to spend on, but they will take care of that money. So I think that's one of the things you can do if you have a partner that you think is first. Be sure that truly they are reasonable, and not that you are the one lacking the understanding of what their needs are. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Mola,
Yeah,
please.
fella. So, fella, I
Okay.
think you actually came to the question from a reasonable perspective, but the question is coming from a partner that is actually unreasonable. So
Wow.
you need to actually go to the worst case scenario, but the case you brought to the table today is more like a best case scenario. Okay, and for the best case scenario, for like the views that you actually presented, I don't think it's actually going to be fit for a worst case scenario. Okay, thank you.
So a worst case scenario, that would be like Moyo's example, right, of a partner where, but the fact is the reason why the partner is spending money that way is because he or she have access to that money. So if there is no access to the money, there's nothing to spend. So if there is let's say, I don't know so if you are reasonable, I would assume they're probably not operating a joint account. Sorry, they're unreasonable to that extent. It was extreme cases, there would be already some fundamental issues that they are not on the same page financially. So if we want to go the extreme case, this would probably be partners where they do their stuff differently. I make my money, you make your money. We don't join anything together. So in that case, to be honest, I don't really understand what the problem is, because if we don't join our money together in the first place, which I'm not saying it's right, but because we are talking about extreme cases now, then spend your money the way you want to spend it. If you want to go into debt, go into debt. That's your problem. Now, going back to extreme cases of being unreasonable. But so go into debt if you want to go into debt, but I will not go into a joint debt with you. I will not get a joint loan with you. I will not go a joint credit card with you. So if we're talking about extreme cases, then I would have my own credits to myself. You have your credit to yourself and spend it the way you want. And when it comes to our income, I would have my own income. Then we'll have to come on the table to decide, how do you want to fund a family purse, right? To say what, maybe to pay mortgage, utilities and all that. I would say for extreme cases, maybe that's a way to treat that. Unfortunately, I don't have experience in that case. I can only, be hypothetical. So yeah.
Fela, that's actually a good way to look at it. But Fela, one question is, where does that lead you to at the end of the day? Because you're a financial guy, I'm a financial guy, Jiro is one, and I think a few other guys on the call as well. So say, because I think whatever income you get it becomes spousal after retirement. So if you have done very, very well in keeping your own finances and saving and all that, I might be wrong on this, and maybe you've done anything, and then you now have saved, you don't have any debt, and two of you now retire, still married together. Baba, now your money should go to chop, the one where you claim. Wait till now. Right? Am I correct?
That's even going too far. What if she's got so much debt that she can't even contribute to the bills of the home, and you have to take everything off? You have to pay mortgage alone, you have to pay insurance, property tax, because this person has so much debt that whatever she's making, it's going to offsetting those debts. And now the person is not able to contribute to even, that's going to be a lot of financial stress on the other person. Because then, if you guys don't, if one of you don't pay the mortgage, then you're going to default. And they're going to take the house back.
We're going back to the same thing that we've been saying. Husband and wife. Yeah. Immigrant wives, immigrant husband, we all need to be on the same page. That's just the prayer we all have to just focus on, right?
Communities, because we
Yeah,
know
Let me point out something.
Can I go
quickly,
next?
please.
Okay.
Let me point out, they mentioned something on financial, so let me correct it before we miss it.
Okay.
So the way the Canadian system works when it comes to finance, except both of you are listed on the debt is the individual's own.
Which debt are we not listed on, bro? Everything is the car.
You're not listed on every debt. Canada is different. So let me just take for instance, let's say my personal financial accounts now.
Yeah.
Right. Canada is a system that functions like this. They treat everybody individually.
Okay.
Right. Except me and the person agrees and we sign.
We'll sign, yeah.
So if, for instance, now your financial accounts that you have in Canada, if your wife is not listed, if you don't put your wife's name there, right, as a personal representative, that's what they call it, give her the power of attorney. If you die, your wife will wait 3 to 5 years and go to probate for them to give her that thing.
Except
so Canada
if you do
treats
seg
everybody
funds.
separately.
The exceptions to that.
But where I'm saying,
if you do seg funds,
what I'm saying, what I agree with you guys, but what I'm saying is this, right? If we look at it in real scheme of things, which debt is your wife not joint with you on? Apart from maybe credit card.
Exactly. You buy a mortgage, you buy a house together.
You are joint on the house, most likely. Except maybe you have most likely. No, I'm speaking about not about one case or two cases. Generally, statistically,
most cases,
right? If you do an average, most people are joint together on their
especially on mortgage. Yeah.
Yes,
especially on mortgage.
If one
now
person,
we're joint because most of the time the reason why we're joint is because as an individual we're not able to qualify. So they would say bring your spouse. So most times they don't explain that to you. But if you and your spouse are on the same page, now here's the secret: if you and your spouse are on the same page and you manage your debt well, one of the smartest things to do is to keep your mortgages as individuals. You'll buy more homes.
Yeah, but
that one is a talk for another day. So sorry, Mr.
So you have to get to a level to start doing that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the point that I agree with you. What I'm trying to say is this, right? Where we're trying to say and that's Fela's suggestions, which I totally agree with. When somebody's unreasonable, the fact remains though is that it goes back to Samson's reply to that question is, okay, at what point, if this guy is unreasonable and the credit card debts everywhere, there's Sephora debts everywhere, there's Gianni Versace debts everywhere, it will now affect their own contribution to the family. So I think
that is right. You can't see. Let me just say it, Nosa. Let me take what you are trying to say. In Canada, their migrant's wife, their migrant's husband, you can't afford to be unreasonable. Because in Samson's world, you will be effed. You cannot afford to, because it scatters everything. So all these shenanigans that we're doing right now, saying it's my own, wait till you get to 60. Now that time, now you'll not say it's not your own anymore.
Not your own. That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
At that point in time, you will be choked.
Wait, guys, wait.
Ejiro, but in reality, people are unreasonable.
Please let Lola
talk.
Samson, please let Lola talk. Lola, I'm so sorry.
So many things.
Sorry, we stepped on you. Forgive us.
First of all, no, you guys are doing great. I like the fact that it's you guys that are focused.
Lola, you don't do your own panelists before.
I know. But wait.
Can we hear from Moses first, Omolola, because Moses has been
Chidi,
raising his
please.
hand.
Let's hear
That's
Can we
true.
hear from Moses
That's
first?
I have to wait for Moses to go.
Yes,
I find
please.
then I can
Hold
off my
on.
camera.
I don't even know if Moses is still on this call. I sent him a personal chat. Moses,
He's
are you
still
there?
raising the hand.
Oh,
On a
okay.
final note,
Yes,
then
I
I'll
am
be
here.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Moses.
I'll
Please,
go
but you
after
have to put
Moses.
on your camera. Are you putting on your camera? Please, you have to put on your camera.
Okay, give me a second, guys. I need to go back into the house because I was watching my
Oh, yeah,
lawn
let me
and
start
Wi-Fi.
talking.
Okay,
Let me
put on your
start talking,
camera. Go
Moses.
ahead, Omolola,
Oh, yeah,
So a
Omolola,
couple of
please,
things,
Omolola,
a
let's
couple
have
of
you.
things. For the lady, I don't know if it was a lady or a man who asked about being irresponsible, like being, what was the word now? Not understanding, I think was the issue.
Unreasonable.
Thank you, unreasonable. So these things are happening, right? We have seen men unreasonable, we've seen women unreasonable. The truth is, I know of people back home who, after 30 years, the marriages broke up or scattered because of the same financial irresponsibility.
Absolutely.
Like people, I'm very, like, I know, it's not them, say, right? The truth is, whatever you're running away from, and I keep saying something, if people think about tomorrow, they'll be very careful how they behave today, right? Many times people are running away from things, and you just forget that there's a tomorrow. You're being unreasonable now. It's fine. Whoever's partner that is, my advice to you is start to protect yourself. So when you're seeing these people here talking, or most of us talking, we're talking about healthy marriages or people who are ready to go into healthy marriages. So assuming you don't have a healthy marriage right now, you want to change your marriage to a healthy one, right? Please, it's different from somebody who is having coconut head and has refused to hear word, both man and woman, because in this Canada, I've seen all sorts, man. Like, I did not know people were crazy till I got to this Canada. Like, I didn't even know people were mad in Nigeria, honestly. Things are happening, right? So if that is your spouse, I beg you, find a way to block all things, okay? You don't want to get somebody putting you into trouble. I've seen people in this Canada that the spouse will not work. They want only the man to die. I've seen people where it's only the woman that wants to carry the whole financial burden. Your wife is carrying the whole financial burden. You still want her to die, right? These things are happening. It's not themselves. So when I'm telling people, it's not them say, okay? If you're in that situation, please, please, please protect yourself. Start to put boundaries. Start to put, my sister, you will protect yourself by making sure the bills are paid, right? Everybody will do what they need to do. You see, again, another thing is people need to start to have goals, financial goals. Again, we like to run away from hard conversations as Nigerians. It's one of the things I'm hoping our generation can change when it comes to raising our kids. We don't like having hard conversations. We just like having surface conversations. We don't like to go deep, which is why most times when people are dating in Nigeria, they're just doing rubbish. Apart from having sex, most times they're doing nonsense. He loves me, talk your own. He didn't call me today. She did not rub my ass yesterday. All nonsense. Instead of us talking
Now
about
we know. Now we know, Molala. Now we know. We didn't know that time. We didn't know.
So I'm hoping that we can start to help our kids have very deep conversations and very tough conversations really early, right? Now, in that kind of person who is being unreasonable, please, make sure people are not sleeping outside the house so that they don't take your house if you have a mortgage. Pay your mortgages, pay any bills you have to pay, and then keep your money. I don't do this because I have a healthy marriage, okay? Even inside the healthy marriages, we still have arguments. I heard Ejiro and Nosa, I was laughing because in my own house, I'm the CFO. Busola is the CEO. So I'm the one, all he does is, Lola, how far? How are we going to take care of it? I will start to break down. This is where we're going to go. This is what will happen. This is where the savings will now reduce. This is how the income will increase. I'm the one who, from day one. Why? Busola doesn't like to talk about finances. Like it really, it's something that, I don't know, it really gets to him, right? I, on the other hand, I'm a very careful spender, but I am very project aligned. You know what I mean? Like if I say I don't have money, even if I have $1,000 in my account, I would drink Gary. That's how I've been since I was single, right? Which brings me again to the part, know your strengths. We're a partnership. Marriage is a covenant. Whether you're a Muslim, you're a Hindu, you're a Christian, you're a Jew, what they call here, Jews. Marriage is a covenant, right? We become one. Find your positive strengths. Now, in my case, I'm the CFO. In Ejiro's case, he's the CFO who has to go bring, do you understand? In Nosa's case, maybe because we're all salespeople, I'm also a salesperson, right? So it helps. And then we always have, you have to have goals. Which brings me to, again, the thing somebody was asking about, how do you manage taking care of people in Nigeria and yourself? My brother and my sisters, if you don't have goals, you will just be doing nonsense. At the end of the year, you find out that you spent more money abroad, as in Nigeria, than even your family. You won't take care of your children. You can't buy you can't carry $100 and buy Puma or Adidas for your kids. But somebody will call you, I have headache in Nigeria. Pap, you have sent $100. Like somebody said, you will be sending your savings to people who don't want to use their savings. You're not
There is
paying
hunger
attention
in
to a lot of
Nigeria.
things. Pardon?
It's not hunger.
I'm not saying there's no hunger.
Lola is
Hold on.
right.
Hold on. I'm not saying there's no hunger. See, I will give you an example. You know, I like to use myself as an example. My mom, likes to spend money, right? I see her in recent times, and the clothes she wears, even me, I don't buy those kind of clothes. Doesn't mean I won't send my mother money. I will send her money. But am I going to be doing it to my detriment anymore? No. They've lived their life. My father-in-law will tell you, Lola, he keeps telling me, Lola, we've lived our lives. You guys take care of yourself. Send what you can send to us. My father-in-law has houses. And he tells me this, right? That's a reasonable person. He keeps saying, Lola, you people should take care of yourself. And will soon die. So let's say we don't need to be emotional about these things. Sit down
Lola,
and draw a plan.
Lola, one question I have for you, right, is what
Yeah.
you just said, amazing, is who will now take care of us? If we spend all this money on people back home and we don't save, we don't plan for ourselves, these children we are giving birth to here, they're structured in such a mindset that they don't know these things.
Let me tell you something that helps me. When people leave this meeting, hold on. When people leave this meeting, sit down and get a book. To ask yourself, if I get into a problem today and I need $30,000, apart from GoFundMe, how many people are going to raise that money for me? Go and do that exercise. When you do it, do whatever you want to do with that information.
Admitting greatest.
I said apart from GoFundMe. So again, please, we don't need to be too emotional about these things, right? Some people want to go on vacation to prove a point because they see people going on vacation. You can go on one vacation. It doesn't have to be 4. Some people want to, I don't care for clothes, for example, right? I care for gadgets in my house. I don't leave my house, right? So I would rather have my games in. I have my PS5, I have my Nintendo. I will sit down in my house 24/7. I don't go out. People know I'm a hermit, right? But some people would rather want to wear clothes. I'm just saying, make sure there's a line, both men and women. You can't see all this thing we're talking. All of you some of you want to go back to Nigeria to go and retire. That's good. People like me, I don't think I'm going to retire in Nigeria. I'm going to be retiring here. I only have 2 children. And left to me, once my children finish getting to 2021, they are done. I don't have anything to do with them again. If they remember me, I thank God. That's the way I'm raising my kids, right? I'm not going to be emotionally dragging them. Oh, I did this for you. No, that's my responsibility to send them to school. I don't say, come and tell me because I made you live in a good environment, then you have to take care of me. No, that was my job.
They say 2 children. They say 2 children for now. Moyo said 2 children for now.
Hey, Mike, I'm not the born again. And then last thing, one lady asked a question in the chat room. She was asking about women who earn more than husbands. I know that that's a big one, and we have to talk about it because once they start to earn more than their husbands, they start to self-destruct. If you see your marriage, especially if it's a healthy marriage, now, if it's not a healthy marriage where you're the one, I've seen somebody tell me that she was the one providing everything, and the man was always crossing his legs and spending the money. I don't know. You know, one thing they told me when I was in secondary school was when you're in love, make sure you're in love with your ear, your nose, your eye, your mouth. I went to a military secondary school, and my commandant told me that, right? I did not enter love with my heart. I entered love with my ear, my eye, my nose, my mouth.
Like 30 seconds.
So I have a healthy marriage today, for example. If tomorrow anything changes, the dynamics may change. If I see my husband start spending $20,000 to where I don't know where it's going to, you have to guard yourself now. It's not something they will tell you. But for the woman who earns more than her husband, please, if your marriage is healthy, don't see it as anything. Don't self-destruct. Except this man is making you a cash cow and he's not pulling his weight. Now, he might be pulling his weight without finances, right? He might be bringing maybe half of the money, but he's pulling his weight when it comes to chairs. It's okay. Don't self-destruct. Don't think it's anything. There are many women that you know that are earning more than their husbands.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Obola. Always. Mr. Chidi, yes. So I want to ask us, this is 18 minutes after our closing time. I want to ask us to please 1 minute. 1 minute. Let's try not to repeat things over and over and over again. Mr. Chidi, if you want to please come on. But for you to come on, you have to come on. Okay, Mr. Chidi, just hold on. We have Moses first. Okay, I'll spotlight you. Just go on, Mr. Moses. Thank you.
Hi guys. My name is Moses. Thank you for giving the privilege and the opportunity to talk and say something. I'm going to try to be honest, and very brief. The truth is, I hate to say that it is too late for a lot of us that are in this forum already, but for want of a better word, I would like to say that a lot of us on this forum already are spent. Now, you would ask yourself the question about unreasonable. Now, I think someone in the forum here had said earlier about love, that love is not everything, and one of the things that has shaped my understanding of love in marriage is a book I read well over 20 years ago. And it says love is 1 out of 10 things. So we can sit here and have an argument all day long about what the other 9 things might be. But you could say the 9 things could be trust. The 9 things could be any other thing that you want to call it. But love is singled out as 1 out of 10. Now, the thing is, the good book, I hate to call it a good book, I call it a Bible. So the Bible is my terms of reference, and maybe for some of us out there also. Now, our terms of reference would say that a man will leave his mother and father and be joined to be one, right? So it is kind of difficult to understand the mathematics of being one when you are singly, you're one and one, but you have to come together and be one. Now, I grew to understand that the concept of being one is that you have to throw away 50% of yourself, and the other guy would throw away 50% of himself to be able to come together to make that one. Now, one of the biggest challenges in marriages today is that they come into that marriage with 1 and 1, which is equals to 2, and still want to be one. That has been the biggest problem and the biggest challenges in marriages. And that is why you would wake up one morning and think that your husband or wife has grown an unreasonable bone. An unreasonable bone does not grow out of nowhere. The truth is, prior to you guys meeting, Mr. A and Miss B, y'all were unreasonable. But the idea of y'all coming together to be one would be that you would throw away out the window your 50%, right? So 50% would be unreasonable. 50% would be lack of trust. 50% could be any other thing that you choose for it to be, right? So when you come to the table, you're half full. When your wife comes to the table, she is half full. By the time the both of you pour yourselves into the glass, right, then you guys are full. You make up that one whole unit that you should be. In that one whole unit, there is the formative years of your marriages, right? Just as you would have with kids, it is important to spend time in the formative years of your kids. Your marriage, newly born marriage is a baby. So you need to spend time with your baby. In that time spending, you would need to remold, you would need to break, you would need to reform a whole bunch of things, which would include your financial perspectives, your understanding of where your finances should go within the next 10 to 25 years. You would begin to understand all of that from the get-go. And don't forget, it is at that point that he loves you the most because he just proposed to you. It is at that point she just said, I do, because she's loving you like crazy. So her bone is easier to form. You don't wake up 25 years later and want to begin to crack that bone. You're going to kill her. You're going to kill him. It will not happen. So hence, I would say that some of us in here, to be honest with you, we're spent, right? It might not happen, but for the grace of God, right? However, we talk about 50 years. My hand has been up for so long, so I want to back up some. Like I said, I can sit there all day long and say a whole bunch of stuff, but let me back up and talk about 50-50. Now, it is easy to say that 50-50 is a good deal or 50-50 is a deal breaker. It's easy to say either way. However, look at it this way. We all have 2 legs, right? So we're going up the mountain, right? You are trusting the left leg to hold his own, and I'm trusting the right leg to hold my own, right? And we get up the mountain, halfway we go through, right? I break my right leg. Are you expecting me to finish the journey with half of a right leg, which would be like 25%? But the contract from the get-go when we were downstairs was 50-50, right? So
Yes, sir.
halfway through the line, I pushed up my 50 till halfway, and it was not my fault, guys, but I broke my leg. Are you expecting me to bring my 50? It's not going to happen. Then
No.
you begin to hound me on not bringing my 50. Guess what's going to happen? The two of us are not going to make it to the top. However, if we have a clear understanding that we're going up the mountain, no matter what it takes,
Regardless,
because it
yes.
might not be my own right leg, it might be your own left leg, but no
Yes.
matter what it takes, we're going up the mountain. The top of the mountain is our destination, right? So I don't give a definition to the ground floor, right? For which the only definition I want to give is we're going to the top, right? So it's not about 50, it's not about 25, it's not about nothing. It's about where our destination is. What I need to put on the table to make it happen, I would do. Like I said, I could sit here and say all day long, but
Moses has gray beards for a
I have
reason.
I have said my I have said
Bro, what's up?
Well said.
Good to see
Thank
you,
you,
man.
Mr. Moses.
Thank you so much for your perspective. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Chidi.
Thank you for the opportunity. I wanted to talk about what Fela mentioned when he had the floor about the issue of being reasonable. And he was spot on. Sometimes when we have a closed mindset, we see what the other person is saying as being very unreasonable. It does not necessarily mean that a person is senseless. Sometimes it's our own biases closing our minds from seeing the realities that people are presenting. What is hurting somebody, what hurts somebody, or what somebody feels about a situation may be unreasonable to you because you are not in the person's shoes. You cannot imagine what the person is going through and all of that. One way I think that we could navigate that situation is what we've been doing back home in a form, which is for each marriage, when we're going to do marriage, we have a sponsor, a marriage sponsor. So this is the person that we go to, and both of us are vulnerable. We say, this is the challenge we are having, and we have spoken about this, and it's not working. What is your perception about it? And the person is trustworthy enough for us to take the person's advice. Now, we may not have it here because of the idea of relocation, but there are people in our community, there are people that we have seen, there are people that are in our lives as families that we need to develop that relationship where we can be vulnerable to them and say, we are struggling with this. And we know that they will provide that safe space for us where nobody's judging us, but they will say things for us in a dispassionate way. I am encouraging everybody to look at exploring those spaces. I know it might sound like I'm encouraging you to take your issues outside, but when you are sitting down and there's no movement in your communication because one person is unreasonable, you might want to think about opening up to somebody who you respect, somebody who can provide you with that safety of your privacy. And then the person will be able to adjudicate and say, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing. That's number one. Number two is, there's a program by David Ramsey. It's called Financial Peace University. Since what we are talking about today is money, if money is a problem, maybe one of the things we want to do would be for us to go through that sort of program where people will have a little bit of financial literacy that comes with adulthood, to add to their skills about what they have to navigate through this land. Finally, I'd like to address this to guys. There are a lot of expectations and responsibilities that come with the culture where we come from. If you think that you need support, and this is just like mental health or whatever support and all of that. Instead of you to shut down, please look out for people in the community where we live. We have community resources that you can look for. And finally, let's think about the years ahead. Everybody here has mentioned it. You see, these children that we are raising up here, the culture we are raising them, they do not understand all the challenges of supporting father, mother later in the years. So whatever it is that we are doing today, let's get into that habit of communicating well. Let's get into that habit of presenting ourselves as vulnerable as possible. And let's find a way to get our finances in order. Thank you.
Okay. Can I go now?
Yes, you can. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Mr. Chidi. Go ahead, brother. Thanks.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's spoken. It's been like so great. I know a lot of people are married for longer years than I have, but just to chip in one or two, I do agree with what Mr. Moses said, Mr. Ejiro, and I kind of have a bit of conflict with what Mr. Chidi said, but okay, everyone to his own. So I'm just gonna say what my part is okay, I'll answer the question first that says, how do you address an unreasonable person? And I want to kind of lean towards what Mr. Ejiro said, because at the end of the day, if you're talking from a woman's perspective to a man, men do actually feed on respect and ego. There's no how you're going to shape that. It's just how they're built. You know, I don't think that, I know it's hard for we women to accept that. And I did take time for me, myself to accept it that, okay, men just love respect. So, and a lot of people just fixate on wanting to address the issue on hand at that moment. There's a reason why there's a word called, debrief, reflect, right? So if something is too hard, like you're feeling that there's tension in the house, like, okay, you're not getting anywhere with this person is being unreasonable, cool down. Let it not even be about today. It could be next week. You could bring up the question, but making them more, men love to be treated right. Women, we love to go on dates. We love to, do something nice, something out of the ordinary. Like do something out of the ordinary for this man. Does he go on dates? Does he like to go out? Okay, let's go out today. I'm gonna dress you up. It might be expensive, but trust me, there's always a way to meet everybody. There's nobody that doesn't have a weak point. Because I see in the comments like, oh, some Nigerian men don't have a weak point. Everybody does have a weak point. You just have to know how to find it. And for you to be able to end up settling down with somebody, it means there was something that you did see in that person that made that person reasonable to you to want to settle down with that person, right? So I do think it's like finessing that thing. So for me personally, my advice to women that are going through this, because I do believe that new marriages, some of us have gone through it, some of us might be lucky, is, find that thing that you feel like would excite this man, that thing that you feel like will relax this man. Because once a man is relaxed and he finds that peace in you, he will listen to you. That's just it. It's just so hard. Like sometimes it's very difficult. Like, oh no, I'm not gonna. Well, this is how I want it to be. This is you're not providing. You're not doing this. And also, there's like what Mrs. Omolola said. Is like there's some cases too where it's like, okay, no, it's beyond repair now. Like, and you have to step back a little bit and kind of save yourself. That's very okay. So I'm not gonna go against that. But I'm saying it's somebody that that okay, this person is willing to make it work. So at the end of the day, if you're both willing to make it work, it will work. Is if one person is not willing to make it work, that's going to be so hard. So if two of you want to actually make it work and you see like, okay, this conversation is not leading anywhere. Some people say walking off has been something they've done. And I feel like everybody has realized that that's not helping the issue. It's just like, step back a little bit. Like for me personally, my husband will come in the night and be like, okay, now we need to talk. And then, I step out of the room and it's just like, I'm just like, you sweet talk the person. And for me, I'll sneak in the room and be like, oh, yo, this is that. Like, oh, I might sit in the parlor and be watching movies and then sneak in and be like, this is that. So it's just like, find that thing that works for you guys. It could be something that you guys have done a long time ago that you don't do anymore. Just something to kind of bring that spark to interest this person. Because once they're interested in you, then they're interested in what you have to say. And then even though they don't agree with you, it'll be more subtle with the way that they're going to respond to you than, when you're trying to put it by fire by force, that you have to understand. And also like that's just to answer that question. And also like why I said I did have a bit of controversy with Mr. Chidi's point of like bringing somebody into maybe a family friend or pastor or something. My dad is a pastor and I'm lucky enough to be able to use my dad because he's very like private and keeps things, to himself.
But there's some situations whereby you could take your family problems outside to like maybe talk to someone that's family, even like an elder in the church or whatever that is. And it could even lead like somewhere else where it's like, okay, you probably say wrong things about each other because you feel like you can't be vulnerable to this person. And when you forgive your partner, they don't forgive your partner. Like they still see them in that light. So it's harder that way, right? They still see your partners in that light. They still see both of you. So even when you guys have moved past that situation where you're thriving better now, it's hard because these people see you in this light, and it's so hard. And you don't know, like everybody's connected to somebody. So let's say, my husband go talks to the pastor. The pastor will tell his wife. His wife will make an example of it to her friends. The friend will make an example of it in the group meeting. The meeting, it just goes, it's long and long and long and long and long. Eventually, everybody's gonna figure it out that it's two of you, and you guys have moved on. You guys have grown past this, but it still lingers on. So it's something like I don't know who said that, like, don't underestimate prayer. It's like my dad used to say something like, before you go to meet this man, pray. Just say, God, tell me what to say. It's hard. Like I used to feel like all these instances, people do this prayer thing. More people should calm down. But it got to the point that I got to understand that it's something that I started doing and it worked. Like before my husband came, I was opportunity to be here first. Sorry, I talk really fast. Really bad thing. My husband was like, oh, I send you so much money, like, because he used to send me money from like Naira to this place. Like, oh, I'm sending you money today. I send you $1,000. You tell me money's already finished. How do you finish $1,000 into that? And so I would be fighting. I tell my dad that he doesn't understand. He's his dad because I had my baby here and he hadn't come. He came like my baby was 7 months. I would complain and do all sorts. And then my dad was like, leave him, let him come. When he comes, he will understand. But I was like, no, I kept dragging and doing all of that. And then now my husband's been here like 2 years now, and he's like, there's really a word like depression in this Canada. When you said it that time, I didn't believe you. But this Canada, it has depression. So we joke. Like I even make jokes with him. My husband is a person like in Nigeria. He had maids. I used to help him in the house, like clean up. Like when you come, you take out garbage. You say, hey, we'll find somebody to do it. We'll find somebody to clean it. Like now he's here and he's taking out the garbage. He's like, me are the clean picking yash. Me this. So we joke about these things, but it takes time. It takes like, there's going to be fights. There's going to be, I just want to say like for new people that are getting married, because like I'm new too, I'm just like 3 years married. So I'm not going to even compare it to like the 36 years married. I'm just like saying to relate to people because we all go through this and it's so hard. And you feel like, no, you made the wrong decision, but you didn't make the wrong decision. You just have to put in the work. Like you have to put in the work, and it's going to be so hard for a long time. And you just keep pushing. You had a reason why you decided to say, yes, I want to be with this person. And they had a reason why they said, okay, I think we can make it work. I like what Mr. Moses said, like, if one person's leg is broken and you keep hounding on it and hounding, you even cut, the remaining 25% will be gone, right? But if you have 100% and like they have 25, like you can try. Like give them 25 from yours, have 75, like let them add 25, make it 50, get your strength back up. So it's just like support each other. Like if somebody's feeling like overwhelmed, help the person. If you feel like this person is unreasonable, give them some time, give them space, let them see reasoning with you. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Don't stop being nice. Don't stop saying, oh, because he didn't bring money, I'm not going to cook today. Oh, because she didn't clean the house, I'm not going to do this today. Just keep doing your own part. And I do hope that everybody enjoys marriage because I really love love. And I hope that everybody gets to enjoy marriage. And thank you guys so much for this. Like, I'm not really like the church group person, but when I said, I was like, let me just listen to what they have to say. And I've really been blessed by like listening to what everybody has said here. And I hope that this program continues for both men and for women and for like other things too.
How many people are clapping for that? Your name is all around the chat group, but thank you so much for that. I sent you a personal message if you want to look at that and respond. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. I'm just going to give last words, not like death. Last words before we get out of this room tonight. But before then, I want to say a big thank you to everybody. I hope we've been able to answer your questions. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go through the chats. It's just, it's getting hot. It's so hot in there. I'm unable to get some questions out. So if there's any question that you want us to answer before dear immigrant husbands go, please just maybe private chat me and I'll see it and what to do. But for everyone, thank you so much. Last word, 38 minutes. Mr. Moyo, you're first. If you want to give your last words, your last admonition before we go for today.
Okay, yeah. So just to reiterate what I've said earlier, 50-50 for me is not something that I support. But as spouse, as husband and wife, you have to be fair in your breakdown, right? Whatever you're bringing to the table must be, fair to the other partner. If you are earning more, be willing, and when I say if you are earning more, whether a man or a woman, if you're earning more, be ready to drop more, right? Don't look at it and say, hey, he's the man of the house, I'm earning more, but he's the man of the house, then he should kill himself, right? You have to be fair, you have to be reasonable, and you have to be flexible. I believe when all of these things are in place and you can also communicate with each other, we would have, less troubles, right? But if you're not flexible, if you're not fair to the other partner, there's no way we can do 50-50. That's the fact. There's no way we can do 50-50, right? So, but we just have to be fair, we have to be flexible, and we have to be considerate. Thank you.
Okay, before another person comes up to talk, I just want to plead with us, please, we have a link on the group. It's the feedback form. Please, if you don't mind, please help us fill it. We want to know the how satisfied you are with this program. We also want to know the topics that you love us to actually talk about or have conversations about here in the program. So it's right there in the chat. If you want to please just click on it and fill it, we'll be most grateful. Okay, Adriel, you're next on my screen.
Thank you so much, Onome, for inviting me to this. It has been a learning curve. Really appreciate everything. One thing I would say, Lola made mention of something. Know what your financial situation is. It is very important, right? It's not one person's responsibility. Make sure that you know what is going on. And dear immigrant wife, as you're engaging with your husband, engage with empathy. I know it's rough, right? Try and find out where he's in his headspace. Make sure, something Rhoda said, make sure you become that place where he finds peace, where he's able to come and say, man, I'm losing it. It is very key. It is very key. And as you do all of this, remember to always check your own expectations as well. Am I putting too much? We've said a lot today about, I don't like the word unreasonable. I don't like projecting negative towards people because it becomes, when you say it so much, it becomes, that person becomes that thing, right? I would rather say maybe your spouse is not seeing eyeball to eyeball. You guys are not in agreement right now. Prayer really helps. I will tell you that from experience. Pray. And while you're praying, check your expectations, check where he's at. And yeah, just keep at it. And hopefully you guys will get to that point where you're able to agree. Because one thing I strongly believe is if two people can agree, you'll pray less. Because that's what the Bible says. It said, if any two shall agree concerning the thing, I will hasten myself to do it. So as you are in that relationship, try and find a point of agreement. Find a point of agreement. It might not be what you want right now, but just try and agree. Okay? Have a blessed rest of the weekend. And thank you so much, Onome, and everyone for organizing this. Blessings.
That's my big bro right there. Thank you so much, Adriel. Yes, Stefano, you're next. You're muted, please.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Onome. So my closing remark is going to be very simple and straightforward. Couples should come together and know what works for them. Okay? They need to understand that marriage is a partnership. They need to understand, they need to also, if at any point in time, it seems they are losing it, they need to go back to how they became. So if it was the guy doing this or doing XYZ, and whatever the guy or whatever any of them needs to do to probably reignite that that passion or that thought in their head, they should probably maybe go back and see how they can probably redo that. And also, couples should try to also have patience with each other, because I've seen that sometimes maturity in marriage helps to downs a lot of pressure and a lot of tension. And then it also gives you a whole lot of understanding. So that will be my closing remark for today's section. Thank you, Onome.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Stefano. Thank you for waking up from your sleep. We appreciate that. All right, go ahead. No, sir.
Okay, guys, Onome, great job. Great job. You don't have to hold a position to be a leader. Things like this are instructive in society, and it just helps us all. All of us have learned here today. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Let's connect. There's a way we can blow this up. Okay. So the other thing I want to let's connect. Let's blow it up. Yeah, let's blow it up. There's ways. Okay. So basically, I just want to say one thing, and I just want to say that I don't want to repeat what everybody has said. What everybody has said is really, really good. One last thing I want to reiterate is that we are in husband and wife PLC. This is a company going in a direction which we've chosen the objectives. The mister cannot do it alone. The missus cannot do it alone. Even if the program is Dear Immigrant Wives, please let's step back sometimes and just see the other person's perspective and see how we can go. And I assure you, at the end of it all, we'll all be happy, and we have kids, who we don't need to burden with the circle of this lack of, you keep going back to your children for more and more and more. And to Omara's point earlier on, all of us still need to feed people back home, right? One way or the other. Hopefully that stops with our generation, and then we can pass on generational wealth to our kids, right? So thank you so much, guys. This 2 hours 46 minutes has been the best. I hope this week will be great for everybody, and I'll answer here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edro, did you know Nasar before?
No, he's just my guy.
Did you guys know
I
it?
don't know him.
No, I've heard of Ejiro.
Honestly, I said these guys, both of you really need to connect.
No, I've heard about Ejiro a lot from Grand Commander. And Ejiro's name is popular. So those of you who don't know who Ejiro is, or you don't know Ejiro, just Google the guy and you'll find out that he's one of our top filmmakers from back home. So
let's get back to Dear Migrant Wife, please. Dear Migrant Wife, let's get back to the topic.
That's okay. Moyo, have you said anything? Yes, you have. And everyone did said something.
You didn't call me your brother, that's why.
Moyo, you're my brother, don't worry. I really want to say a big thank you, everybody. Edmonton Greatest. Thank you so much. And everyone who came all the way from Ontario. I have a lot of Toronto people here, people from Ottawa. Thank you so much from Saskatoon, and Rhoda who spoke. I think Rhoda said you're from Winnipeg. Marina, all the way. Thank you so much. And there are 2 people here who are also from Nigeria, not just 2. I think I saw some of them. To TJ, I'm going to call your name, and some of them who also are from Nigeria who are not sleeping. Or for you to know also that right now Stefano is actually in Nigeria. So thank you, everybody. Dr. Annie, all of you. You know what? I'm going to call names. I'm sorry. Just permit me.
Stefano, bring fish from back, I beg.
Please, can you fill the feedback forms? I can see some really funny things on the feedback forms right now, things that people want us to discuss. I heard someone talking about stocks and ETFs and all of that. That's one of the things I really wanted us to talk about. But I think the husband and wife issue is actually more. So we're going to bring back Ejiro, we're going to bring back Nosa, we're going to bring back Stefano, we're going to bring back all of them on the panelists, Moyo on the panel, I'm sorry, and also Sam Top. They are good with all of these things. And there's an idea also that Stefano has, I think the Nigerian community needs to push or get into. So thank you again, everybody. Yes, I'm going to call some names. Fela, thank you for coming up. Omolola, always on point. Thank you so much for coming up. Mr. Moses, I'm just hearing. I heard your voice for the first time last week, but you were so on point today. If to be my friend. I'm coming. Cynthia is my friend already anyway. For everyone who spoke, Marina, it was hot right there. Olushaya, it was hot right there. Dr. Annie was hot right there. Everyone who was just on the DM doing, on the chat group doing amazing with your conversations. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm going to call names again. If you want to leave, it's okay. But please feel the feedback from, I beg you, please feel the feedback from. I can see on the feedback from someone asking, when are we going to talk about sex? Who knows? But let's go. I'll start with Adeola. Adrian, you're laughing. Okay, I said a big thank you already to Edmonton Goodness. Okay, all right, let's go. We have Erica, thank you. Sharon, all the way from Turkey. Guys, it's big. Thank you. Geraldine, Sharon, I see you all the way from Turkey. Thank you. Jay, Tishay, Dabrin, Nelson, Dr. Muzaba, Abisola, Abiola, Ebony. I think that's all the way from Australia. Tolulope, I see you, TJ, CFI alumni, and also CJMI Toronto. I see Opeyemi, thank you so much. Marianne, Adeola, Dolakbo, Madam Gold, Jacob, Ayodele. Okay, people are leaving, so it's becoming hard. Okay, Divine, Victor, IT, Chizoma, Amarachi. I think I saw Choma earlier. Shegun, Akpofure, Yemen. Yeah, Choma, I see you now. Iche, Pearl. Pelumi, Fola, Debbie, Game Zone, Rama, Habiba,
Wait, Onome, are you
Josari,
really going to
Kings.
call the 100 names? They're like 120.
I'm almost done.
Here. Okay.
I'm
all
almost done. I have 3 pages left. I have 3 pages left. I just want to appreciate everyone, honestly. Professor Virus, SAD, Olubube, Chuku, Omo. Oh, that's Peppy there. Ada, Stefano, yeah, we talked about that. Uchechi, my girl. Thank you. B, Undu, Oluwatoyin, Aisha, Ayobami. I have 2 more to go. Be patient, please. Chebona, Linda, Fola, Elo, Olafela. Okay, Adejumo, fine girl, Laura, your name. Oh my God, who's that? Omolola, time, Jude, Adeola, Ayo. 1 more page to go. Jude A, I think I've called everyone here. Omolola, I've called you, yes. Olawumi, Dr. Annie again. Teddy, Paul, Dami, Dr. Evo. Thank you so much. Dr. Evo actually is part of the sponsors for this program all the way from Toronto. Thank you, Dr. Evo. Mosmo, Olusheye, Nofisat, Nosa, Aderonke. I think I am done. Okay, thank you again, everyone, for coming in. I'm deeply grateful. And thank you again to all our panelists. Moyo, Big Bro, I deeply appreciate you, Edro. Nosa, Big Bro too, I deeply appreciate you all the way from the B-side. Don't worry, Moyo, also from the B-side, it's okay. Thank you, everyone, again. God bless you. See you next month. All right, bye. Questions on how to get recording. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
You can drop your email. There are some people who I had to reach out to this time. You can drop your email if you want to get the recording. If you're not in Edmonton and you're not on Edmonton Greatest. If you are in Edmonton, you should try join us on Edmonton Greatest. But if you are not, you can send me your email. I'll come back again to this recording. I'll take it and I'll put the recording for you so that you can listen to it. It's also live on Facebook, on YouTube too. I had to stream it live too so that I don't have issues with people asking. Okay, so look, we're good. All right, please. Yes. Thank you. I see that. Okay. Please feedback, everybody. Feedback, if you don't mind, please feedback. Thank you. Please fill the feedback form. We'll deeply appreciate it. I deeply appreciate all of you again. We hope that your marriages will be good. We hope that your money conversations will be better. We hope that everything is going to be okay with your marriages here in the abroad. God bless you. Have a fantastic month ahead of you. Bye. Olusheye, aren't you so wonderful? You are so wonderful. Thank you so much, sis. Thanks.
No, man, well done.
Follow me. You know that I really appreciate you so much. Thank you
I'm so
so
sorry I joined late. I'm beating myself up, but I will listen to the recording.
Yeah, I just saw it there.
In my
But
mind, I
just
was telling myself it was 7 p.m. I went to take a nap. So when I finally woke up, it was 1 past 7. I quickly joined. I thought I was just in the middle of it. I didn't know I was reaching the end.
Wow. No problem at all. Thank you so much for coming
I'll
in.
listen to the recording.
Yeah.
And I know the conversation will continue on Edmonton Greatest.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, I'm just trying to copy out all the emails I can see right now. Should we drop our interact? Please, can we actually send our interact to you, Dr. Mamuzu? Am I
Muzamba.
Muzamba?
Don't mind him,
Sorry,
he's not in Edmonton, no.
How do you know he's not in Edmonton, Aisha? You believe everything you read, Aisha?
Oh no, I want to be petty. You did not call me your sister when you were calling out names.
Sorry, Aisha. I was just trying to be. I didn't even know it was you now. You know, how many Aishas did we have today? I'm sure we had more than
It's
one.
only me. Just me.
Are you serious? Only you. Has to be only you. Thank you so much, sis. All the time.
Thanks for the hard
For your
work.
support. You're so fine. You guys are
On a
just
man,
awesome.
on a man, well done, no. Though.
Thank you. Is that Dr. Who? Why now? This is no
Now you
way what
now,
you do,
shoe.
honestly.
Now you they chop my high now, shoe.
Just because you don't want to put on your video.
I know, I don't do where I go put my picture now. Now because I don't put my picture, no worry. Now me and you did now. We did. We did now. Thank you for.
Then you know what I want to share. Because you suppose they here today. You know, Sha.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for creating this platform for us to learn. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure. Any day, anytime. Just trying to copy emails. There's so many. Okay. I didn't even see this one. What's happening with the German secret test? Are you in Edmonton? Say, ask me. Dr. Muzabam, are you in Edmonton? I can drop for you, but are you in Edmonton? Because you have to be in Edmonton. But I don't even have the link. So just send me your number. Send me your number. I'll give it to the admin and then they'll add you. Let me see. I hope they've stopped recording. Okay. Yeah.
Great job, Onome. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, who am I speaking with?
Evo.
Hey!
You went to cast me as also.
Yes, now before Uncle. It's easy. It's not easy. It's not easy at
You
all.
want to keep you want to keep the chat. It's so interesting.
As in, that's what I'm looking at, actually. That's what I'm looking at. Oh my God. Okay, they're not casting.
Alrighty, good night. Bye.
Good night. Yes. Thank you. Please send me, okay? Please.
Sorry, send you what?
Please send me the recording, please.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm so wait till can I relocate to Edmonton? Funny guys. That'll be wonderful.
Stretching. Sorry, let me bounce from the call.
No, wow. No problem.
Have a good week, Onome.
I will. Thank you. Thank you. You too.
I mean, not best. I did read message.
Not for you. Now hear me there too. It's okay. Please go ahead.
The chat box now book on you know. This chat is like book.
Obviously, yeah. Now we I want to don't go. You know what? Oh, no. Next topics are the discuss the vacation you went, highlights guides for interested persons. Okay. Discuss the vacation you went. When can we send wife to thinking corner? All these people, eh? That's good. Oh, good. They don't disturb me for record. They don't start. Look at this. I'm more people too.